just killed it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. But Klopp doesn't change the system since Buvac left. You don't want to change from the 4-3.
What's going on, people? We're back. It's the Jerry James Show. Let's get straight into it. The tactics board, my regular cast, we've signed them up, do you know what I mean, before pre-season started. We got
Mane, Salah, Familia.
Exactly. Trio, that's what we're talking about, man. We still haven't decided who's who, but you know,
we'll let the follower, we'll let them decide.
Let them decide. But, obviously here with G and Roms. Before obviously we get into anything, obviously when you see our faces on the screen, please like the video, please share it, subscribe if you're new, and please comment, interact with us. That was obviously the channel grow, helps us all move forward, man. G, Roms, how are you guys doing today, man?
We are good, baby. We are good. What are you telling me?
Had better days, better results, but other than that, it's smart.
I'm not even trying to think of that right now. We're good.
Yeah, I've had better weeks, man. I feel like Klopp comments, what's going on in our like I know it's pre-season, but the defeat's never nice, isn't it? It's never nice. 4-0 United. It's not really great. I feel sorry for the fans in Bangkok though, man. Have 3 years to see a goal, just to go, just to celebrate.
Because you know, like the next 2 tours will probably be like Australia and like US, and they have to wait another.
Yeah, man, exactly. But big up to everyone in the chat. I'm just gonna obviously shout out a couple of people, wait for some people to hop in.
Man, like Shawnee, you know.
Big up,
Shawnee.
Demo in the cut as well. Excited about it. So yeah, it should be a good one, man. Should be a good one. And Ilyas, as always, big up. You know, quick one before we start off. Obviously, I'm just gonna hear he's talking about Nunes. He told you about Nunes. We can't do. Are we really doing this? Because do you know what it is? I remember when Ben had pre-season and he scored an overhead kick and we were gassing it against United. We were gassing it. What did Benteke give us?
Listen, I saw some.
We need to get. Sorry to cut you, G. We need to get used to it because Chelsea, United, couple Arsenal fans, all of our rivals are banning Nunes. They're calling him Darwin nonsense. Like, I can't lie, that name made me laugh a bit. But anyone that's dissing him after a 30-minute cameo, let's just wait. Like, I'm not
one training session. After one training session, do you know what I mean? Like a game where it's just like a preseason, it's a mismatched team. Like Virgil didn't look great. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Like we can't. Let's not do that, innit? Let's not do that. But as you guys know, the topic of today, Academy Starlets. We're going to be going back in time. We're going to try find out.
Like Marty McFly, back in time.
Back to the future, but back to the past. We're going to the past, and obviously we're going to try chop up and see where the likes of Adam Morgan, Jordan Ibe, Connor Cody, we know. Do you know what I mean? Some of them have done well. Ben Woodburn.
I couldn't even tell you.
Brannigan, Rossiter.
Oh my God.
Listen, all these players that were meant to be the creme de la creme of talents from our academy. And seemingly they haven't made it. We don't know where they are at. So, yeah, I just thought, especially, do you know what I mean? During this whole kind of pre-season time and there's no real transfer talk, I said, why not, instead of looking forward and looking at, do you know what I mean, the next players coming through, or are we going to get Bellingham, are we going to get Barella? Do you know what I mean? We're now obviously thinking, cool, let's look backwards. Why not look backwards and see, could we have done better? Have we let a couple players go too early, prematurely? Would that benefit us now? All that type of thing. So, yeah, man, let's get into it. G, do you want to start on a player, or should I start the tape back?
You can start the tape back. We can just dive into players, man. There's a few.
We're gonna dive straight in. Adam Morgan. Now,
quick question, you two. How far are we going back? Because I've got names, but I don't know how far we're taking this.
Listen, if you've got a name that you bring up and you know enough about, 100%.
Yeah, run your rhythm.
We're just going to do a roulette. So it's going to be myself, then G, then you. We're just going to keep chopping up like that. And then me and G got plenty of players to chat about and speak on, and there's going to be a couple that obviously are a bit more controversial. So, yeah, man. Cool. Let me start. Adam Morgan.
Mr. Morgan.
I remember being a 14-year-old kid watching LFC TV when it was still free, guys. It was still free. Yeah. It was Sky Sports. And I'm looking at this Brentford scoring, and he's scoring on Sky.
Yeah.
Scoring every game I watch. And bear in mind, this he was in the same year group as Sterling, Andre Wisdom, that whole cohort, Connor Cody, that whole cohort was his group, and he was scoring every game. Wicked left foot. Labeled, by God himself, Robbie Fowler, the best finisher at the club. This is at 18.
Had a few of those.
This is at 18. Labeled as the best finisher I've seen since Owen. That's what we were hearing. At one point, obviously, he scored. I'm looking here, and he scored 18 goals and 16 appearances at 18 years old for the under-21s.
That's a good record.
That forced, obviously, Brendan Rodgers to give him his debut.
That's a good record.
His debut. Really, really good record. If you think about it, do you know what I mean? Like,
for an 18-year-old under-21 level.
Yeah, under 18, under-21, you expect him to be at that level if you're any decent. But to get that record is like, solid.
That's more goals than games, isn't it?
Exactly. At the time, we didn't have any finishers. Oh my God. It could be Sterling and Adam Morgan coming through. I remember it was a pre-season, funnily enough. It was actually in Thailand as well. It was in Asia, I believe. It was in Asia, the pre-season, and he got on there, and I think he assisted a couple goals as well. And I was like, all right. I think this is Brendan Rodgers' first season. And it just didn't work out. Ended up going to Yeovil. That was his contract expiry. Fast forward a couple of years, he's played for Chelmsford, Romford, Halifax Town.
He's gone down that route.
He's now currently at Haringey Borough.
How old is he?
He's 94, so he's 28, 29.
Haringey.
So he's not even old, like.
What's that, like step 6, step 5?
Yeah. Ryman, probably, that kind of level. And this is
no disrespect to them, but
that was donned. Do you know what I mean? The next Robbie Fowler, essentially. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy when I think about it. I don't know what do you guys have any memories of Adam Morgan or?
I remember he was lightning, wasn't he? Lightning quick, great finisher.
Left foot.
That's what I remember as left foot.
Same.
But the fact that you've gone from Liverpool. And this is even a good show for the youngsters out there to even look. You can go from Liverpool to Yeovil to Harry. Like, the step could be, you think you're at the top of the world, you're labeled by, the legend himself. You're being told, you're like the best finisher that we got here. Look at his career. And that's no disrespect to him or his career, but look how it's kind of panned out, man. That's crazy. Yeah,
it's mad. I always look at it for me and I'm like, with Brendan Rodgers, because I mean that's a kind of a common theme throughout some of these players. Is Brendan Rodgers? I don't think he gave these players a chance. I don't think he gave these players a chance. We'll speak on obviously some others. This is just a quick and easy one, but yeah, I remember just Adam Morgan. It's more of a history take, and I remember just that name was buzzing around. It was him and Sterling. I remember literally it's him and Sterling in that same year group. And we all saw what happened to Sterling in it and how we obviously progressed. Adam Morgan just didn't make the cut. But it was never like he didn't look good or he couldn't finish, because he did finish. But since Liverpool, Gerrard has been terrible as well. I think his best return was 13 goals in 39 games for like Romford.
For Romford. Jesus Christ. You can tell, that's crazy. Being labelled one of the best players here, or one of the best finishers here, at least, to kind of go in that kind of route. That's kind of mad. That is actually kind of mad.
Crazy.
And it's crazy as well when you think about it, because you now got Klopp and all these other players bigging up all these youngsters. And it's just funny, isn't it? It's just funny, like,
because there's a handful that I still follow. Once you leave Liverpool and you've had a high from a young age, but you've got a high ceiling, and you've got so much potential. Once you've left my club, I'm kind of like, if I like you, I'm gonna follow you. But Adam Morgan, I'll be real, I don't know much of him. I know I've heard his name ring bells while I was at the club, so I didn't know that. But I know the teams you mentioned, and like G said, to go from the Liverpool to Romford, then Harrogate, that decline's crazy. And then you gotta ask why was his heart just not in it? Like, was there off-field issues? Did he fall out of love with the get? Like, there's many different reasons.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think JJ even touched it there though. Like when we go into these other players, you'll hear it. Brendan Rodgers was there at a time when most of these kind of players were like coming through, your Sterlings, Andre Wisdoms, Jordan Ives, and people of that kind of ilk. But was he the right manager to kind of lead them players forward? Obviously, people talk about him at Chelsea when he was he like a youth coach, and Reading, sorry, he was another youth coach there, I believe, and he was the manager obviously there at Reading. So it's like everyone talks about him with young players, but I'm like, maybe he just wasn't the right manager for those players, because you know there's a lot of players on this list that I'm looking at. I'm like, yeah, they were here during Brendan Rodgers, and it's like, there, as JJ said, there's a common theme.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Anyway, enough about him. I just think it's mad. Like I thought that was a good, obviously, player to start with, because it's someone that I just remember thinking. It's me personally thinking, oh yeah, he could be that next striker for us. We didn't have a striker. Bear in mind, we had Suarez, and that was about it. There was no one else really about. Sturridge still hadn't been bought when he made his debut, because Sturridge came in the January. So in the league, I thought he'd get plenty of games, and obviously the preseason tour was there and all sorts, and it just never worked out, man. Never worked out. But G, who you got for us? What player profile?
Well, the first one I'll look at is Jerome Sinclair.
Thinking of the same hymn sheet as Demo.
Bro, there you go. I didn't even see that, Demo. So you think alike. Like Jerome Sinclair, this guy was donned again by people at the club. He was like the next best thing. He was as good a finisher as Michael Owen. He was fast. He was everything that I guess you would have wanted from a striker back then. Played under Brendan Rodgers, he was a part of there was like JJ said before, there was like a batch of players that came through under Rodgers in his first season when we was playing like Europa League football and all them kind of games there. And he was one of them who was like slowly coming through, playing the under 21s at the time. I think he scored more goals than games in one season. I think he scored like 22 goals in about 20 games in one season. So you're like, all right, cool. Yeah, he's making the grade. Makes his debut. But then after he makes his debut, when I'm reading it here and I was looking back through it, after he makes his debut, it's like he makes a debut, then doesn't play for months. So you don't even hear about him for months. Then he might come back in on the bench. He's still in the reserve team, things like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, G. His debut was against West Brom. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I remember
against West Brom. So
I
it's
remember
like
being disappointed because I think it was in a League Cup game.
Yes.
There was all this hype, and I was like to my dad, "Is this the same?"
Exactly.
That was being ranted and raved about. But yeah, sorry, carry on. I remember his debut now.
But even to touch on the point that you just said there, it's the one that they've been ranting and raving about. So when we see him now, I'm expecting Michael Owen 2.0. Like, do you know what I mean? Like just the black version of Michael Owen. That's what I'm expecting to see, pop in here. But then it's not really correlating there. And then after that, once he signed like an extension, then he went out on loan. But his loans, when you look at them, they went from, so we've got Birmingham, Sunderland. So you think, all right, cool, decent level. Then we start going on to Oxford, VVV Venlo, CSK Sofia, and now he's without a club.
Oh.
And he's only currently 26 years old. And he's without a club. Again,
the reason why I remember him as well is because they're all my year group.
Yeah,
Most Londoners and all that, like I would know. Do you know what I mean? Heard of them when I used to play, and it's mad when you think about it. It's not.
And listen, guys, these are. I can't sit here. I've not been in these lots position where I've had a professional contract as far as academy goes. Yeah, but you got to realize these guys have gone from academy being one of the few guys who make it in an academy to then getting a professional contract, thinking you're kind of built for stardom, was there a bit of mismanagement? Like a lot of these names I'm looking at, and I'm like, the way that you was managed while you was at the club and stuff like that, was it right for you? Because you look at other like youngsters around Europe that either get loaned out or they get moved to the development team, like, you know, little things to kind of help their top players get to that next level. You won't have this many so-called potentially good players. Like, there's a lot of names, bro. Like Adam Morgan, like we could go through a bag of names soon. And there's a lot of people here that you wouldn't necessarily have said, yo, like he could have made it in this team. Why not?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I think do it is big up to Jamie Phillips, who's obviously just popped into the chat as well. Big up. He's obviously saying, let's be fair, academy isn't that special.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, look, you can look at it and it could be that our academy isn't special, or it could be actually highlighted. We don't manage our academy well because any player, look, goals get you goals regardless. And obviously, we spoke about strikers now. If we're getting 22 goals in 20 appearances, it doesn't matter what level that's at. So that's a very, very good rate. A very, very good rate.
Because then I ask you to this. Jamie actually makes a very good point. Because other than Trent, I know people are going to say Jones as well, but I mean, that's actually gone on to another level. Other than Trent in the last, help me out, you two, in the last 10 to 15 years, who has actually excelled from our academy?
No one.
I'm trying to think of names and I'm struggling.
Gerrard is Gerrard is literally the last player.
Yeah, but we're speaking before I was born, like the year I was born, in fact, 98.
Before I was born, like yeah, bro, listen. That's actually mad when you think about it. We've only really produced. Why just make me feel sad, bro? It was a nice warm day. I was feeling good. Now you're making me feel bad. Like Gerrard was our last academy product that you could realistically say before Trent. Is that really what we're saying?
Literally, and people are going to get confused and start chucking many names out. Some people might even say Jones, but Jones, I rate Jones, but I mean to that world level, or not even world actually, just to a top level.
To a top level, yeah. Cool.
It's just been Jones. Sorry, it's just been Trent. I'm actually struggling to think.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because when I think about it, I feel like our academy was at its best when Benitez was there. Funnily enough.
But cool. It's funny you say that because the next player I have,
I actually feel that for when Benitez was there, he actually brought over that kind of Spanish academy system where we're going and getting the best players. And I'll speak about a player as well who's come from Spain, and like it is a bit mad. It is a bit.
Does he
mad.
begin with a C? I think I know which one you might. Does he
No,
begin with a C?
Mine that begin with a C. Mine that begin with a C.
Because I got the Spanish one.
But this one was bought as well by the way. He was bought by the club.
Just before Roms even gets into it, his pick, even JJ, you just touched there again. When Benitez came in, it changed. Why? Because Benitez brought in that from a young age, we're gonna all play the same way. I don't care what way you guys are playing down there. We're all gonna play the same way. So when you come up here, you can play the same way. We weren't really doing that before. It was more free for all kind of thing. If you're good, you come up. If you're not good, you stay down there. But I just want to touch on that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Obviously, the comments are flying, guys. So everyone that's in the chat, please like. Listen, I'm gonna touch every comment. But obviously, we're gonna get through to the first kind of round of academy players, and then we'll get onto the chats. But there's some mad comments by certain Liverpool fans as well. I'm seeing like Liverpool Lee in the chat, and it's a bit mad.
What's he saying?
Yeah, we'll get onto that in it. But Liverpool Lee, shout out, man. Make sure to check out Liverpool Lee's channel. I don't know why he does Arsenal shows, but I don't know why. Yeah, but anyway, let's move on in it. Roms, what are you telling me, man?
Right, as I didn't come prepared, but I've just brought you to speaking. I was on my phone, because I'm getting off a few stats or whatnot. But let me do the similar intro to what Jerry did. Again, when LFC TV was free, I was glued to it. I was watching all the games, whatnot. I was even young, but when I'm looking at our academy, like, he's gonna be next up. Nathan Eccleston.
Oh my days!
Whenever I saw Nathan Eccleston in the U team, he was bagging every what literally what Jerry said. Whenever I'm watching a highlight of a game or even a live game, Nathan Eccleston was scoring. Now,
I forgot about him.
From what this is what I mean. from what? And this one hurts because I actually thought he was the next, best thing. He's 31 now, yeah. Born 1990.
He's only 31.
Yes,
Right.
31. So he would have been, let's say, academy player round 07 to 09. So when you had the Torreses, the Couts, the Crouches, the Bellamy's.
Yeah.
So it would have been hard for him to break in, but it's crazy because his actual debut for us, I was there at, I'll never forget. So he made his debut for us in a 2-1 loss at the Emirates. Remember, it was League Cup. Ince scored a banger. Don't know if you two remember.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah.
I remember because I remember that game. The Emirates was just patchy. It was at 20k inside. The tickets were cheap. Anyone could kind of go. But I remember he came on, even his cameo. I can't remember if he started or come on, but I just remember him doing a mad turn and hitting the post. And I thought, you're ready. According to what I'm reading now, he then made his Premier League debut against Fulham as a late substitute. And then he signed a contract and then we didn't really see him again. Now, when I've gone through his CV now, it's not as bad as Adam Morgan's, but again, it's crazy. So it was at Liverpool from 2009 to 2012. However, several loans during that tenure. Huddersfield Town, 12 apps, 1 goal. Charlton Athletic, 2011, 21 apps, 3 goals. Then Rochdale, 5 apps, 1 goal. Then we sold him to Blackpool in 2012. I'm not sure what the fee was.
Undisclosed, probably, or just he went on a free.
You're right. It was an undisclosed fee, which means it was probably an embarrassing fee.
But what did that mean? Can someone just elaborate on that? Like when they say undisclosed, what do they mean?
This is my understanding. Jerry probably has a better, but when I see undisclosed fee, for me it's like we don't want to tell you.
Yeah,
that's what I think. It's like,
but then it comes out, so I don't get it.
Yeah, basically, undisclosed fee, it works both ways, isn't it? So if there's a club that's selling a player, they don't want to go and let anyone know what they sold the player at because they might have overspent or maybe let him go for too little. So a player that I'm going to get onto in a minute, he was an undisclosed fee, but that's because of the who he was like when we bought him. And then he ended up being. So it depends how you look at it. But a club does it just to protect both parties because certain parties don't want to release kind of their finances, how much they spent on a player. Because especially if let's say I've spent 2 million on a prospect. If I go and have negotiations with another team to buy another player, they might be like, "But you just spent 2 million on him. He's better than him, so we want him." Whereas that kind of just keeps stuff on the wraps.
Okay, yeah, I never really understood it. Yeah, it's such a weird name that.
But what are you saying? So Blackpool, Roms, and then...
So bro, I'm looking at his appearances even. He didn't make... I'm trying to think, is he injury stricken now? And he actually wasn't either. But from Blackpool, he was there 2012, 2014. Again, 3 loans within that Blackpool spell. 9 apps, 1 goal. He then went to Tranmere during that loan. 1 app, no goals. Carlisle United, 2 apps, no goals. Coventry City, 8 apps, no goals. Then they sold him to Partick Thistle.
Wow, my God.
For a season. 9 apps, 1 goal. And then they sold him to Kilmarnock. 10 apps, 1 goal.
Has he made 100 appearances in his career?
Judging by these numbers here, no. He just about even made 50.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. You just said like 8 apps. Every time you kept talking about
roughly 60 to 70 professional senior appearances.
But how can you make a loan and then not play at the club?
Yeah. It's not even that. It's the quality of the teams of the loans you said kept getting worse and worse, but the appearances kept getting lower and lower and lower. I was like, that's not making sense. It should go the other way around. Like, that's mad. Nathan Eccleston.
From Kilmarnock, it was Bekespa. I feel like this is a Turkish 3rd division team, just by the name. I could be wrong. Bekespa 1912 Allure. That's what the team's called. 5 apps, 1 goal.
Oh, my. 5 apps. Do you know how bad that is?
This one's kind of local to us, but then 2019, Nuneaton Borough.
How many games?
2 appearances, no goal.
This is
and that's it. That's his career.
Oh, is he not playing no more?
Well, clearly not.
No,
Yeah.
Clearly not.
because normally we'll have the dash.
What
Say,
you think if I played if I only managed to make 2 appearances for non-eating after playing for Liverpool, you think I want to go and
Nah, please still.
I'm doing music or something. I'm trying to blow off music. I'm trying to do something mad.
yeah. So career total starts senior
Yo.
would have been 79. Wow, this is actually embarrassing. You two,
I'm laughing, but that's not good, man. That's not good.
79 senior apps. That's in what, in 11 years. Wow, an 11-year run. 8
Less than-
goals.
It's not even the goals. You know what? I'll blind him on the goals. It's the appearances.
Man are loaning you and saying, listen, if I was a non-eating manager and I heard we're getting someone that used to play for Liverpool, he's gonna play. You're playing experience. But if Maddie's thing is he hasn't got the experience because he's only played 70 games. Man, I've played more games in Sunday League.
That's crazy.
Man, I've played more.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's like already. There's not even much to say in him, but that's just from my nostalgia and how I felt watching him in the youth setup. Wow, you're going to be the next big thing. And you know, even when he broke in, the Crouches, the Couts, the Bellamys, they had left. We had man like Ngog. Actually, Cout was still there, but we had Ngog. I think we had Plessis at the time. Obviously, we had Torres, but Torres was declining. Who else did we have during that season? He broke in 9 to 10. It wasn't much.
Listen, but cool. You didn't make the grade at Liverpool. And I know some of these players didn't make the grade at Liverpool.
That's fine.
They still had some careers. They had a career in football.
Exactly.
This brother made 70 appearances. Listen, didn't Pendo make 60 appearances in one season? Appearances. That's off the bench.
That's right.
You didn't even make 100 appearances off the bench. Sorry, you're dead. You're dead.
Bro, I remember being literally at 9-10 years old thinking like this guy's gonna be the next thing. When you see someone banging in goals for your club, no matter what level, you're gonna feel type of way.
Listen,
100%.
His career, it started off like this and ended up like this.
Oh.
Every time I see that video, I'm always like, I feel so like my heart just like.
The reason why that's mad, not only the pot fell on him, he's getting like several degree burns. Like, it's crazy.
On top of the beating that you will receive for even doing that in the first place.
And it's just gone in his eyes.
He definitely had the worst evening of his life, 100%.
100%. Oh my God. It's my turn, isn't it? It's my turn. My name. All right, man. The Spaniard, the player I thought was our David Silva. I swear to you, I remember saying to my boys, this was our David Silva. And this, people can click me up, and I'm being honest, so I hope people don't. I sat there and argued with people in school and told him he is David Silva, the younger version. The name Suso. Suso. And I saw here Demo obviously shouting about Suso as well. So let me highlight that.
Hey, Suso was a bad boy. I can't remember.
Sean did, yeah. Suso there.
Even after Liverpool, Milan, we'll get on to that, but Milan fans loved him.
Yeah, listen, he was signed as a 17-year-old. He was bought by Liverpool for the undisclosed fee. Yeah, disclosed fee. He made his appearance he was signed as a 16-year-old. He actually didn't make his. He wasn't signed until he was 17 because of kind of work permits and all that type of thing. Managed to get that done. Signed on his 17th birthday, and then that same year he actually made his debut in a pre-season appearance for Liverpool. Yeah, so that's in 2010. 2 years down the line, kind of playing reserve football, but done really, really well. Like I remember there was like the Next Gen series as well, so he played really well in that. And he makes his debut in 2012 in the Europa League against Young Boys, and this is when Brendan Rodgers was here, and Rodgers was gassed. Rodgers was ranting and raving about how good Suso is. You know, technically, really, really good. Technically. You know, I used to always talk. Made his Prem debut that same season versus Man United when there were 10 men down. He came on at half time and bossed it. Where he actually won in terms of, obviously Liverpool used to always do their player of the game. He actually won player of the game for Liverpool, even though we lost 2-0. So crazy. Like, he was doing well. Like, the progression was really, really good. Obviously, then furthermore, he signed a long-term contract that same year. So came at 17. At 19 years old now, Brendan Rodgers offered him a new contract. He's loving it, salivating it. And in the year after, in 2013, he goes on loan to Almeria. That's all right, nothing special. And then after that, his contract expires and he leaves for AC Milan.
How long was the contract? It was a long time. It was about 4 or 5 years, wasn't it?
4 years. 4 years. And then in 2013, so in 2013 he went to Almeria, and then in 2014, the following season, he signed for AC Milan. And Roms, as you said, in AC Milan, real good player. Like, wasn't obviously a star, but real good player. Actually made the Spain squad numerous times. I think he's got 5 caps, so obviously he wasn't by no means like a well-beer, but he's
good enough.
I watched an Italian
and those years as well, 13, 14, 2012, that Spain squad was packed.
Exactly.
Stacked. It was stacked with talent. You had Cazorla couldn't get in. You had pure.
You don't like that. Man, like Cazorla couldn't get into the Spain squad.
When I watched an Italian documentary, they were AC Milan. They said, I think there was a poll. There was a few other players in it as well, but he was one of the players they were most upset about when they sold him to Seville. They were proper upset. And the odd time I watched Milan, Suso's balling out, and it just makes you think, like, we should have kept him.
Especially in the position we were in, because once he had went on loan to Almeria, we were left with Markovic, Lambert.
Was Asaidi still there?
Marini, Asaidi had gone. Fabio Barini. It was just
you know what messes up Suso in that situation. It's the same thing I keep saying about players now, and it doesn't even matter how talented you are, because I feel players today everyone's talented. It's just really if you've got like a niche to your game. The problem for Suso, he left that 13-14 season when we done sick. If he was a part of that team, I reckon he stays there. And we just kind of bed him in. The
problem is he couldn't, because you have to think about it. Who signed? So he left in that January, right? Who signed in January?
Wait, what year are we talking?
What year?
This is 2014, 13-14.
Did we sign in January?
Did we sign that January 14?
Well, who signed the Jan before?
It's Coutinho and Sturridge.
Sturridge.
Yeah.
Where's he going to play? We're not playing Europe.
Right. And you know what? Rodgers might have saw Coutinho as his success, not even successor, just a better player.
The better player, yeah. But that team though, Coutinho, bro, don't you guys remember the game against Everton? We drew Suarez, Suso, Sterling up top. I said, yo, we're playing the 2 young boys with Suarez, and I thought we're gonna get all 3 of them. That was a banging game. That was a game where you actually saw Suarez looking after 2 players. Like, they were so young, you had to just look after them.
That was the 3-3, innit?
Yes.
And
I think Lukaku scored in that game. Yeah. And it's like, when I'm thinking about it, like, yo, Suso was a baller. Yeah, he was a baller.
Suso was a baller. Like, you're talking about someone that at 17. You're signing, moving to Liverpool at 17, where, do you know what I mean? You ain't got your family around you. It was completely different. I think we missed a trick with him, you know. I think we missed a trick because you think about it, and then we signed the likes of Lallana. We signed all these types of players.
Luis Alberto.
Luis Alberto. We signed Iago Aspas. We signed all these players that didn't work out anyway. They didn't work out anyway. And on top of that, has Suso's career gone? I mean, look, Lallana was in a great position where, do you know what I mean? Obviously, we signed him, and he was at Liverpool when we won the league, and he helped us get to top 4. But is he that much better than Suso? If Suso was English, is he really? Like, is there that much in it? I don't know. What's the chat thinking? I don't know. Let us know in the comments. But I don't think he was that. I don't think the difference was that great. Like, when you think about it, they're both really good technically. Like, I don't know. Lallana I guess, was English and played and was a bit.
Yeah, literally.
Is a bit older, but he probably would have got more out of Suso as well. I think we jumped the gun. I think even Sean's saying here.
I'm listening. I'm just doing research on my next guy.
Yeah. Jerry, do you think Rodgers utilised him well enough? I always thought that he wasn't quick enough to play in our front three. I would have preferred him as a midfielder, 100%. But it's a very similar. You know what? His profile is really similar to Harvey Elliott's.
I see what you're saying.
They're both left-footed. Really good. And you're thinking about it, I don't know. Because look, Edward here is saying Lallana was much better. Yeah, he's saying it was much better than Suso. But
I wouldn't say much better.
No, you know what? I wouldn't say much, but Lallana, them 2 years at Southampton.
Yeah. It helped him.
Bear mind, he played. Imagine, think about it. If you're telling me that AC Milan loved Suso, right? If Suso was playing at Southampton, how well would he have done? I know it's ifs and buts, of course.
Probably even better.
But that's my point. But that's what I'm trying to say. Lallana at Southampton was 100% solid baller. But what I'm trying to say is, obviously, you've got the English tax. That's always going to obviously run rife. And on top of that, he's more experienced. So he's played throughout the leagues. He's got a bit more about him. But Suso wasn't a poor player.
Lallana was a niche. You got to remember, English guy who's dribbling like a Brazilian. That's like Joe Cole. They love players like that.
Exactly. When you get that, it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. But that's just the norm. That's just the norm.
That
type of player.
Facts.
I remember, man. It's crazy.
Suso, I like Suso, man. He was good, man. He was good.
He's at Sevilla now. So, and he did actually start and play in the final when they beat United. So he has won the Europa League. So his career, to be fair, all the players that we're speaking about, his career's probably gone better than most.
Probably the best.
To be fair, much better. Because think about it, if Suso was the same year group as, because he's what, 30 now? No.
So, all right, he's older than Sterling. Right.
31, I think he's a year older. So he's Sterling's year group as well. So when you think about it, that whole cohort, obviously Sterling's clear of all of them. Interesting.
Exactly, man. There are even thinking back, like when you mentioned, we're talking about like Luis Alberto and all these other like players that we could have named, didn't come through the youth system, but like young players. We wasted a lot of money on a lot of garbage back in the day. When you think about it,
of that Rodgers time as well, 2 players you can actually say. I'm not going to say you can say they went on to get better because they were regular starts for their 2 respective clubs. But Iago Aspas and Luis Alberto, both at Lazio and Celta Vigo, they've both, when I've watched them, and even statistically, they have both improved.
Yeah.
Maybe we weren't just the right fit for them, but them 2 players out of the Rodgers era have actually gone on to do well.
I do think Brendan Rodgers' man management is really bad.
Very.
I find it ironic because he's this kind of youth coach apparently, and he's the one that, you know what I mean? But it's really weird because when you think about it, look, Sterling on that first day of pre-season almost fell out with him.
Remember, for the ones that remember, Channel 5 being Liverpool.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
When I saw that, I knew Sterling was on his way out, man.
Yeah, 100%. You just.
But that was like his first. That's when he still had that quiff.
Yeah.
That was the first season when we had the kit with the collar.
But apparently, Jerry, it carried on. Maybe not that exact stuff. Training, but their relationship just broke down from there.
100%.
You got to realize that was during the era where Rodgers was holding no weight in this game, like none. And I'm talking trying to bring top quality players in. It was a fight to even keep Suarez here as it was, keep players like Sterling. Like he was holding no weight, man, during them periods of time, man. Because some of the players that he bought in, you could just tell, these are the kind of players that only you can buy because you can't aim any higher than this unless we won the league or something like that. And then maybe you can grab in a few players. But even the top level players that he tried to get, Balotelli, Benteke. You know, like these are the top quality players that he was able to obtain. That's mad. That's so mad.
And when you think
So,
about it, do you know what it is? We actually, do you know what we did? We went and signed. It's like if Chelsea went and signed Jody Morris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lampard's assistant, the youth coach. It's like if we did that.
That's true.
I know he was at Swansea and stuff, but I think that gassed us a bit.
Because you see, that's what you took the words out of my mouth. When I saw his cameo at Swansea, and I was just about to say he took them to the League Cup, but it wasn't even him. It was Michael Laudrup. But that first season with Britain, Routledge, Michu, and the way he had
it wasn't even Michu. It wasn't. It was
Michu wasn't there now.
Danny Graham.
Danny Graham, yeah.
Was it Michu under Rodgers or not?
No.
I think he was Laudrup.
Michu was the season after. That was Laudrup. Michu was Laudrup.
Yeah. This
one, yeah. That Swansea team had Danny Graham. It was what's his name on the wing?
Dyer.
Nathan Dyer.
Oh my God, Nathan!
He was lightning.
Nathan Dyer, Wayne Routledge. In the midfield, it was Joe
Britton
Allen
and Allen, innit?
Joe Allen, Britton, and who's the other one?
Oh, the Oriental guy. Actually, he might have been after.
Where did we get John Joe Shelby from?
Charlton.
Charlton. Charlton. He moved to Swansea after.
Yeah, he moved to Swansea afterwards. But I think that was after because he played for Liverpool that season.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, I forgot he was in midfield. You know, I have forgotten he was in midfield.
Swansea had like that decent championship playing team.
Oh, what's his name? That was it. It was Pablo
Hernandez.
Pablo Hernandez in midfield. That was it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So when I saw that little blueprint, I thought, I've clocked. This is what we need to stop doing, and this is why people like Demo and that probably say to me, calm down on Carvalho, because it's a step up whether you're a player or a manager. But when I saw what he done with Swansea, I'm thinking you're at a better club with more funds. You have to do well, and it just doesn't always work like that. Doesn't always work like that at all.
When you got players that know their level, they'll push you more. But when you're coming up against a team and there's more expectation, they know the level they've been at. Some of these players, like you got your Gerrards that have been at a ridiculous level. It's difficult. How do you impose yourself? It's like with Lampard. Lampard that first season at Chelsea, I think he done really well. I know some people don't rate, but I think he done really well. That first season,
because the context, no signings.
When they had no signings, that helped him. When they had no signings, and he's like, just play. I got to play Tammy. I got to play this. These players will play for him because it's easy. But when you're now going, all right, we're gonna go and get Hakim Ziyech, Werner, Kai Havertz, this player. And you've splashed all that P. Now they're looking to you and they're like, take us. And
that's new to him. He hadn't been in that situation
also. So take us there again. And he couldn't do it, man. Then he couldn't do it.
That's also another sign to show people, as well as we're talking about academy players. Just because you're an ex-player, Chelsea legend, Hakim Ziyech, he don't care about you. I mean, Lukaku, he don't care about you. Like you're not legends to them. You're just more a legend in the game that was before. In the managerial world, it's a whole different ballgame. So there's a level of respect that these managers still have to obtain. Players like Gerrard, Rooney, Pirlo, Javi, all of these guys, they need to gain respect regardless in this game.
100%. But going forward, G, who's the next player profile, man?
The next one to look at.
Hold on 1 second, G. Before we go, guys, please. I don't know how many likes we're on, but please let's try smashing. Let me go have a look. I'm gonna nominate someone soon in the chat, and they're gonna be what's it called? Responsible. You know what? I think it's gonna be Sean this week. You know, Sean, you're responsible for us to get in 30 likes. If you don't, I'm cutting you off still. No, I'm saying we got Sean, but you're responsible regardless. Like you're the one that's gonna.
It's on you, Sean.
Yeah, let's just go and check. We're imported it today. To be fair, 12 likes, guys. We have had like 18 people in the chat. We should be on way more likes.
We have to rise that.
Please, guys, rise
that before Love Island. I'm not even trying to, because you'll go and watch Love Island and snap your likes and your subscribe. Let's see that here. I want to see that energy here.
Exactly. But
thank you.
Anyway, go on, G. Next player profile. Let's go.
Next one, Jordan Ibe. Signed him, 16-year-old from Wickham. Was doing really well in our under 18s, so he's playing a couple years up. To be honest, he was like most of these players on here. You could tell he was above that kind of level. He was already ready for first team football. It was just how we were going to integrate him into the kind of squad. Called up to the first team match squad in 2013. Didn't make a debut for another 2 months. After that, coming on playing against QPR where he assisted Coutinho. From then, he kind of kicked on a little bit in regards to appearances where he was coming off the bench quite a lot. Then you thought, all right, cool. In 2015, he went on loan to Derby. So you thought, all right, cool. You know what? He's going to go Derby, do your thing there. You know, boom, bam, bim. It didn't quite work out there. he got brought back. Brought back to Liverpool, and then that's when we kept him obviously here. Then his contract then ran out here at Liverpool. Then he signed back with Derby County. But if you know, for those who don't know, I don't want to touch on it for too long. He suffered with depression whilst he was at Derby County. Quite a few things actually. I'm not going to get too into it, but like quite a few things happened to him whilst he was at Derby.
Yeah.
So
like getting robbed and all that type of thing, innit? Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff. So again, like any normal human being, that's going to take a knock on any part of your life, you know, confidence and all these kind of little things. And with football being something that you're watched by millions, you know, thousands, millions of people, I can only imagine the kind of feeling that he must have had. I can only empathize with him during that period of time. But obviously since then, his contract obviously got terminated by Derby. At the moment, as I've seen here, in January of this year, he signed a 3.5-year contract with Adanaspor.
They're Turkish, isn't it?
Second tier Turkish in the Turkish league. So again, he was a player who, when he was breaking into the first team and Sterling was already there, everyone was thinking when Jurgen Klopp, just before Jurgen Klopp come in, you thought it was going to be Sterling and Ibe. That's what I thought anyway. I thought Sterling on one wing, Ibe on the other wing. We got two
Not even just that, G. When Sterling left summer 15,
yeah,
a lot of Liverpool fans saying, it's fine, we've got Ibe. That's how much in high regard we had him. I didn't say that. I'm not saying generic.
I'm not gonna lie. I said it.
I can't lie.
Ibe is better. I said Ibe can strike a ball better. I said Ibe can cross a ball better. I said Ibe's more powerful. He's more dynamic. Everything. I was the one that was screaming.
100%. I'm with you.
I think at their ages, Ibe was actually better. Ibe was more of a talent. The problem is, I think, like you said, it's mentality. He's got a different level of mentality. The fact that he went to City, made that move at such a
I'll be real. That's one situation I was right about. That I wasn't really upset when Sterling left because I understood there was context. We weren't winning anything, and he's got a club that he's about to win most things with. But the reason why I wasn't upset is because we had Ibe. I always knew Sterling was the better player from young, in my opinion. I always knew, but the fact we had Ibe, which is similar ilk and had a similar ceiling at the time, I thought I'm not really too bothered. But yeah, different career paths.
It's. I mean, you're saying the second tier of Turkish football, and again, I don't want to get, because his context is the depression, mental health, and stuff. I don't want to touch on that.
How old is he now, G? Quick question. How old is he?
I don't actually know. Jordan 25. 20. There you go. 25. So we're not talking about an old player. We're not talking about someone who is in his 30s and he's just chilling and you think, yeah, your career's already done. This is the guy who easily could still make it back to the top level of football with years of obviously consistency and dedication and stuff like that. But again, another player tipped to be stardom, moved to Bournemouth. We also, and that was we had the buyback clause. I remember we had that inserted in because we were so sure he was just going to do one season at Bournemouth. He's going to bang. We're just going to bring him straight back. That's what I felt like. It was a loan move more than anything. Like a loan move, a season or two at Bournemouth, and then you come straight back. Went to Bournemouth, and I don't know, with Eddie Howe and just how things were there, it just didn't really pan out for him. And then when he came back, again, like other players in this squad now, we've leveled up quicker than you. We're past your level now. So when you do come back into the team, if you can't hit that level, you kind of have to go now. A bit like Ox and players like that, where you're thinking, we've passed your level now, bro. So what you kind of still doing it in that sense because you weren't able to develop too much still.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's mad as well. I'm not even trying to violate. Guess where I saw him playing recently?
When people say that, I swear to God.
No, wrongs. Guess
I
what
just remembered he's local to you as well.
Guess where I saw him playing and who he was playing for?
Where?
The Wall FC, bro.
Against AFTV, innit? Oh my God, I saw it. And he skied the penalty. He had a penalty, right? And he put it into Rose's head.
YouTube team.
Is that who he was playing for, or just
No, he was playing for them. Like he was playing for them, and he took a penalty and missed, and they were grilling him. And
No. You need to add emphasis on that. He didn't miss. He skied it, bro. It went into Rose's
head. I need to watch this. Sorry, Adam, I need to see this, bro.
Because it was the Claude Cup. You know, the late great RP Claude.
Oh, yes, yeah, RP Claude. Yeah.
It was that four teams, a few YouTube teams and AFTV. They all come together to raise money. But yeah, when I saw that,
no, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, hold on, like Ibe.
But I see Bruce that some of these.
No, the Brewster one was different. Like Brewster had his own little team, like he was.
Very true. Yeah, very.
No, Ibe was a single entity that joined the team of Sunday League players, bro. And he played and he missed the penalty and skied it. And the fact that the Wall FC players had the audacity to look at him and grill him. Like, what the hell was that?
Serious?
That's ridiculous. I was like, that's ridiculous. And the worst thing about it was he didn't even look like the best player on the pitch. He just looked like a player. And that's the worst thing. When I saw it, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I
need to watch that game. I'm going to go on highlights after this to see that game. But even still, like, look at that. We've gone from playing alongside Raheem Sterling, signing a new contract, playing Europa League, like, again, doing big things. And this is why, like, I like shows like this, because this is more to teach people, don't think you've made it. Because when you thought you've made it, you haven't really made it. Just because you signed a pro deal and you signed for 5 years, like all of these Liverpool youngsters are doing now, that don't mean nothing. You could be sitting here for the next 5 years and do nothing. And now you're playing for the Wall FC. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, which could be a bit mad, like for you personally. Like, so players need to understand still.
Yeah, actually moved for 15 million as well. We're not talking about someone that's just went to Bournemouth on a free. It was 15 million. That's crazy, man. Rom's telling me
again, another player, nostalgia it's got me in a headlock, and because I'm going back to the Benitez kind of days. And the thing is, the reason why there's sentiment there, not really but there's sentiment on my part, but even as our club, as a collective, because it's a well-known player's son, but Tom Ince.
Oh my days! Yes, I forgot.
Listen, you see, Tom. This is what I mean. When I watched the academy from about, let's say 2008, 2010, him and Eccleston were just. I remember we had a game against United and we whitewashed them 3-0. I think Scholes was in charge of their youth team at the time, and every time I saw them two as a duo, I thought these two light-skinned brothers are just gonna tear up our team. I was thinking, like, I can't wait. I was gassed for both of them. But there was reports after, I was getting to it now, but his dad, obviously Tom Ince, said we weren't playing because things with sorry, not Tom Ince, Paul Ince. But with Tom, he was quite versatile. Even in the youth system, he could play either wing and number 10 up front, exactly. And his dad just wanted him to be a 10, just to be a 10. That solely, don't put him out wide, just be a 10. And our youth team coach at the time, I can't remember off the top of my head. Can't remember. Say that again?
No, I'm saying I think I remember this like story as you're saying it. I feel like I remember this kind of.
Yeah, the youth team coach just saw him. In fact, I think the youth team coach favoured him either flank because he was quite ambidextrous. That he could use both feet. And I remember he's like a lot of his catalogue of goals in the youth setup were both feet. So they kind of had a disagreement, and even here. So he signed for Liverpool as a youth player in 2008. And he was handed a first team squad number 10 to 11 season. He made his Liverpool debut in a qualifier against FK Rabanitsky. So I think that was in the Europa League. He then made his substitute for another player who I don't know if we're going to get onto later, but Dani Pacheco in a League Cup final.
Pacheco.
And you know why I remember this game? Because it was embarrassing. We got knocked out to Northampton in a League Cup.
Oh my God.
We fielded quite a decent team as well. And yeah. Then November 2010, he went on a loan spell to Notts County with his dad. He didn't do too bad there. 6 apps and 2 goals. So he scored in a third of his games. But after that, I think it is after that loan spell, Liverpool wanted to sign into a contract, but him and his dad didn't agree the money they were offering. Paul Ince thought that this contract was also disrespectful because I believe it was only, it doesn't say it here, but from the off top of my head, it was only a 3-year deal. And I think it was only about 30k they were offering him. I think he wanted more, but I love our club for that because you can't be getting 70, 80,000 a week and you've not really done much this year. But then he's gone to Blackpool. He had a slight upwards trajectory because even at Blackpool, in 100 appearances, he scored 31 goals.
From the wing, not bad.
That's not too bad at all. And then at the end of his Blackpool tenure, he went to Crystal Palace, 8 apps and 1 loan. And then from there, I remember he had an injury because I'm also doing this off the top of my head, but the clubs and appearances he's had, he then went to Hull City, 7 apps, no goals. But I believe he did have an injury that season. He also went to Nottingham Forest, 6 apps, no goals. But then he had a loan spell at Derby County. This is where it picked up again. I think he started to get a run of game.
Yeah.
He had a loan spell at the end of the 14 to 15 season, 18 appearances, 11 goals. So that's like a goal every other game. And then they signed him permanently, Derby County, 2015 to 2017. Again, 26 goals in 87 appearances. So he kind of went on an upward trajectory. Then he went to Huddersfield Town. I remember, because this is the season they got promoted to the Prem. And this is where I thought maybe he can galvanize his career again. Not to say again, because he come off the back of a good Derby County spell, but I still knew there's a ceiling he hasn't hit yet. So he's gone to Huddersfield Town, and this is where it's kind of gone back to a downward slope. That's their only year in the Prem, 33 appearances, 2 goals. And yeah, I even remember watching him play a lot, and I was like, I want you to do well. That you're a product of our academy, and it just didn't happen for him. Then he's then gone to Stoke City for 4 years, 12 goals in 94 apps, and since then, loans at Luton Town, Reading, and he's just signed for Reading recently. I think this summer. So
yeah,
but again, he's 30 now.
Yeah, he's that's it, isn't it? That's the
and there's not really much left for him. But they're the main two. There's so many youth players because we're obviously going to go on. But out of that Benitez era and the youth team, they're the two that stand out to me. There were more within that team, but Nathan and Tom were winning us games. FA Youth Cup, that they were the 2 go-to players. So it's just a bit upsetting. Yeah,
Tom Ince had a wicked left foot.
Wicked left foot.
And again, his right wasn't even too bad, but that's what he was known for. His wonder left foot.
Yeah.
Have you realised most left-footed players just have that wicked shot?
They can all bang a ball.
Guys, look. It's a hard job for us left-footers. We don't try to be this good. It just happens.
G's left-footed.
G's stating this. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm definitely going to try arrange, like a side match with all these.
I'm ready.
We have
to. I'm ready.
We actually have to, because even Monts talks a good game. I've seen clips of Monts. Monts is decent.
But yeah, I've seen clips of Monts though.
Monts is decent, but it'll be wicked, man.
Listen, man.
What's Jerry just busting up?
Yo, some people are gonna
when I hear clips in it, that just makes me want to see it more. I want to see it live. Clips, right?
Jerry wants to know what you're really about.
Then let me pull out the CV, the football CV when I was 16 and that.
Oh, when you told me your CV, bro, it's crazy. I just know you're a baller from your CV.
Yeah, man. Enough of that though, innit? That's in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Hey.
We got months regardless, innit? We got months
We got months inside.
Check out Big Sixpence as well after this.
Yeah.
Why not?
Literally, after this, they're live now, but you stay. If you're in here, you stay here.
Cool.
Yeah, bro, you stay here, then you go.
Yeah, then you go.
I mean, you segued it, innit? You segued it for me, which is cool. So I'm just going to go straight.
We had to speak about him. Yeah.
Pacheco. Dani Pacheco.
Bro.
Where do you start?
He was signed for essentially €1 million. It was €1 million to Liverpool. Benier signed him from Barcelona. He was Barcelona's main, he was the equivalent of when Cesc Fabregas left Barca to go to Arsenal. He was nicknamed El Asesino, which basically means in Spanish the assassin, because apparently in the Barca academy he could score from anywhere. He was winning them games, goals, everything. He joined in 2007, but loans to Norwich, Atletico Madrid, and Rayo Vallecano saw him end up with a permanent move to second division Spanish side Almeria. He then played in La Liga for a while, was at Betis, then went on loan to Getafe, played a fair few games at Getafe. He's now in the Polish Ekstraklasa League. He's playing.
You said that that was a known league just out there. He's just in that Polish league. Yeah, don't worry about it, guys.
Wait, is that with with the Warsaw Krakow team?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only know 2 teams from that league.
Yeah. So he signed for them. He's playing for Górnik Zabrze, and that's it. And
you know what? Yeah, I have to jump in. If you're a young player watching this, just keep your head down, because this is upsetting me. This is actually upsetting.
And this is a player that Benitez spoke about and said he could be world class. It's a player that Brendan Rodgers saw at preseason and said he's got a real future at our club. Didn't play. This is after playing preseason. He went back out on loan. After Brendan Rodgers told us he's not going on loan, and he just hasn't. It just hasn't been the same since. And he's playing now in the Polish league, and I mean,
I shouldn't laugh because leagues are league, and I would love to be playing professionally right now, so I shouldn't laugh.
I mean,
to be fair. But that's a drop down, bro. That's a drop down. I'm sorry, you don't go from Liverpool being class world class
from Barca.
Barca.
The assassin by the club. The club, you see how they call Coutinho El Magico and all these. They will call them El Asensio.
That come like Bojan.
El Assassino. Yeah, they call him the assassin. The assassin. Do you know what that means? I don't know, man. It don't look good. They don't look good. And I feel with Pacheco, he's another one that I've just guessed about. There's not much more to really say about him. It's been a horrible flop.
What do you think it is? Because we're seeing a common theme with all the names that we've mentioned so far, bar maybe. All of them. Say that again, sir.
It's actually upsetting that. I actually didn't deep it until we actually got on the stream, but none of our academy prospects have gone to a mad level, bar Trent.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. Like these players, like you're talking about a guy. I'm sorry, but I remember Pacheco, and I remember thinking, "Yo, he's gonna be." I'm gassing people for him. Yeah. I'm telling people like, "Yo, this guy. I promise you, if you go on Championship Manager, like he will get good. Trust me, he's just gonna be sick." And like you're now, chilling in bloody the Polish league, like doing nothing. Like that's not. What is it? Is it our academy? Is it us?
No, I think it has to be. I think it has to be because
you know what make me think I should keep my mouth closed about Carvalho and just
no, keep your mouth closed about Carvalho. It'll get long.
No, keep it because like if it don't work out, we're finished.
No, I'm joking. I'm still gonna have chest, but as you're saying this, I'm thinking, brother, you can't be another one in the back of my mind.
No, but think about it. There's everyone. Billy Cometio,
But cool.
Billy the Kid.
Would you
the Kid was
would
touted
you
as the next
include
centre-back.
Carvalho? Would you include Carvalho and Elliott as youth though? Because they didn't come through our youth. I don't think you can.
Elliott, I would. Carvalho, I wouldn't. Elliott, I would.
Elliott, you would.
No, Elliott, I would, because when we bought him, he played in the academy. He didn't go straight into our.
You're right. Actually, you're right.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
It's how we bought Duncan and we bought Reece Williams. No, Reece Williams came through the academy, but who else have we bought that's come through the academy? Kay Gordon.
Scanlon. Yeah, Kay Gordon. We bought that new Trent guy recently from Derry.
Yeah,
we're buying a lot of players as well.
We're buying players. So that, I mean, Dani Pacheco was bought. Do you know what I mean? Suso was bought. So, and they're coming through our academy. So Elliott, I would say, but Carvalho, no, because he's gone straight into the first team. He's gone straight into the first team. But looking here, man, I mean, Demo's saying it here. The common theme is our managers don't give him chances, and Klopp is doing the same thing.
100%.
And to be fair, when you think about it, it's true. And what I don't like, though, is that I preferred it. We didn't pick up players, and we had these players in the academy.
Actually,
we can rave about them as much as we want, but then you're looking at it, and it's like, why is he raving about Morton if Morton's not going to be in 2 seasons? Owen Beck is not the right back.
Left.
Who's the right back?
Connor Bradley.
So where is he?
On loan.
On loan where?
Bolton.
But hold on.
I rate Bradley as well.
No, but why? Then why did we get Ramsey?
Bro, as in
Wait.
You're asking the questions that I've been asking for the last 3 months.
No. You two hurt my head as well, because where's Adam Lewis as well then?
Oh, he went time ago. He went to
Adam Lewis is finished.
Yeah, he went.
I promise
No,
you.
he went time. He went time ago.
It's a loan. I'm telling you it's a loan, because I even said to my brethren the other day, Adam Lewis is permanently gone. He's like, no, he's not. He's loan, and I checked it. It's a loan, but I feel like he's at a good age now where he should be in our team. Obviously, he can't really break in.
Oh my
He's still here, innit?
He's still here.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yo, Adam, my guy. Hear what I'm saying to you, bro.
In June 2022, literally in June, so just this like last month, a month ago, he joined Newport County on a season-long loan in League 2. Get rid.
Words. I thought it would be the next thing, but I saw him flying one pre-season, drifting past players.
Do you think? Do you even before you even continue on him? Do you even think, like, as Demo just said there, it's the managers, because Klopp will rant and rave, but is he really trusting these guys? Like, is he really?
This is what I was going to ask. I'm happy you brought that up, G, because even because Demo, the first bit I agreed with when he was at the common thing that our manager didn't give us a chance, but I'm not saying Klopp has, but I feel like he's given them more chances than the previous managers.
Yes.
Because how many times have we sat here and said, "Oh, there's too many young players out," but that's kind of, we can't kind of have our cake and eat it too and be that hypocritical, because there's a lot of times I've seen starting 11s put out, and even I'm like, this is too many youngsters, but it's what we then want, because if you basically pass your audition, as we say, Klopp may give you a chance, but then it's 50-50, because even a Trent thing, if Trent didn't get injured, does Trent ever get this chance?
Real talk.
What I'm saying is as well is Trent was a midfielder in the academy, yeah? Every other player has been playing in their position. He's the only player that went and actually changed their position to get into the squad. But that to me suggests that he's not good enough to play in midfield. He weren't good enough to play in midfield. He weren't good enough to break in. So he made the kind of the mature decision to say, you know what, I'm going to change my position because someone's advised me that, look, you're not good enough. Because you got to look at it now. And Morton, look at our midfield, and he's breaking through. No, look at our midfield, and Morton is breaking through. Are you trying to tell me Morton is better than Trent in midfield? No. But it's a question to be had. You're saying no, G. No, but you're saying no, G. No,
but I just touching it as we're speaking about him. Yeah, you know, I've dissed Morton a lot. I said I don't think he's all that. But today, we're not saying a review of the game or not. But what I'm saying is that I smiled a few times at certain things he did. That's what I'm going to say about Morton. But carry on. When you're saying,
I'm saying, look, Morton broke through in the midfield when our midfield's been at its best, essentially. I know it's not good enough, but it's been at its best. We got Thiago, Fab, Hendo, this. When our midfield was back then, our midfield was what? Emre Can, Henderson, Milner. Lana. That's it.
Obviously, you're talking from a space of it's better than before. So yes, in that sense, yeah, Morton's not crap or nothing like that. I don't think he's dead. I just don't see him.
So how did he break through and Trent didn't? If Trent was that good, you play in midfield. If Trent was that good,
No, but then you got to realize at that time as well, we had a dope right back, so to speak. Anyway, so the reality, I don't know. I actually don't know. I was gonna say the reality is that when Klein got injured,
bear in mind what Klopp said was, and I repeat, and I quote, he said, "Wow, Morton, we're not going to play him in the DM anymore. We're going to play him in the 8, and wow, he's so good. He's pushed further forward. That's what they've done with Bale. He's playing at left back, and they pushed him further forward. They're pushing him further up the pitch."
They have mad
Is
trust.
there an argument? I know I'm going off topic, but is
No.
I actually hear you.
Is there an argument that Klopp rates Morton more than Trent in midfield, at least?
Nah, because who's he gonna play right back?
And you can't even say Ramsey because you mean before.
Yeah,
the
because
season,
that was
yeah.
before.
But
Yeah,
when they broke through, when the team broke through, we could have easily played Joe Gomez.
No, but wait, Jerry, hadn't Trent just before he broke through? I know the majority of his youth time was in the midfield, but I swear, just before that Hoffenheim game, when he broke in or not, and even some of the League Cup games before that, hadn't his last few games under Gerrard been at right back?
They were, because they were trying to prep him to go and play in that position because they
The
needed
only-
a right back.
The only way I can validate.
The coach just told him, "Your mentality is great. Your mentality is great. Look, we're gonna get you playing at right back," and that's what they said. And Trent's open about it. He said he didn't want to do it.
yeah. I remember him saying though he didn't like playing.
Look, the only way I can validate that is maybe they just thought, look, your biggest strength is striking the ball, whether it's a pass or a cross, and maybe they thought you're gonna excel at right back.
Bro, hey, Roms, I'm not gonna lie. If I looked at a player and said his biggest strike is striking the ball, especially in our midfield, I'm playing him in midfield. I'm telling him to lick
Especially
shot.
in our midfield. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, definitely take
Right back.
You're actually right.
Maybe his energy was like great in the youth team. Like I remember watching him in the youth, but not as
You know
much.
what, Jerry, that's a very good question. Because when you first said it, I'm just like, what are you on about, bro? But when you actually deep it and break it down, he must.
Morton,
Are you really gonna sit here and tell me that
Morton at his age must be a better. Morton at his age is.
I'm not saying he is, but
not player, because Trent's gone to another level, making the position his own. But at that they were, so they're both like they broke for at 18, 17, 18, whatever it is, right? But are we forgetting that last season Morton got blessed with the opportunity I played at the San Siro in the Champions League game in midfield as a single pivot? Do you know how good you have to be to do that?
Bro, not even just that. Against a Conte team away at Spurs, bro. Starting.
Yeah, that threw me out.
You have Ox on the bench who would love to play against basically his Ops, bro.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very good point you've raised, Jerry.
Okay, then. So I'll flip it back to you then, Jerry and Rum. So do you then think that Klopp is? Do you think Klopp is the right man to help with these youngsters coming through at this present moment? So your Carvalhos, Elliott's, Jones, Kai Gordon's, people of that kind of ilk.
I think.
I'm happy you've asked this, you know.
I think he's the right man. I just think it's the wrong time. And what I mean by that is,
right man.
I also think right man, wrong.
Yeah, if we were
right man, wrong system.
If we were 8th, 7th, and we're trying to compete for top 4, I'm telling you now, in 2 seasons, I think Morton will be our starting midfielder.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that the team's going to be good. It just means he's the starting midfielder.
No, but that's what I mean. I'm not saying he's good. He'll be a starting midfielder. Reason why.
No disrespect.
He's being gifted these opportunities at Liverpool. He's being being marketed.
How much trust the gaffer has to have in you to start you in them 2 games?
Pivot. No, but single pivot. You're not telling him play as one of the midfield. You're not telling him like when teams play 5 at the back, and you tell him, play as one of the back 3. you're playing him as the single pivot to get the ball off the centre backs.
Okay, so do you, Jerry, think he's of that level where, he can be coming in now and rotating with that midfield? Do you think so? Right now?
Oh, if I was judging it off today's game, you know me, I have this Morton a lot. But if I was judging it off today's game, what I saw in his little 30-minute cameo, yes.
Okay, Fabinho gets injured, he's out for 5 games. Are you happy with Morton stepping in?
No.
Okay.
No.
There you go.
No.
I'm not happy, but I trust in Klopp. And
You sound like
Man put his whole family. You're dumb. You're dumb.
Oh, I said I'm not happy, but I trust in Klopp. But
oh my God.
You know, to answer your question, when you're like, I think you just asked Jerry, or was he? I can't remember. My mind's gone all over the place. Today's it's been a mad day. But you two said, does this mean Klopp's the right man to bring through these young players? Cool. If I'm speaking specifically, cool. I'm not going to speak about the Mortons and the Ramseys, but if I'm speaking specifically for that 10 role, which Elliott, Carvalho, and Jones can all excel in, I think he's the right man. But his system don't complement them, especially if he's going to stay with. We've already spoke about this many times, but with that being said, like I said, for you two, I've had a new wave of optimism recently. I do feel we're going to switch it up this season. I actually do feel that now, because even a little cameo I saw today,
I told you we were going to see a midfield with Curtis for
2 out of the 3. It was there.
No, I didn't all 3.
No, it wasn't in midfield.
Not together. But you meant together, innit?
Okay, yeah, true. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Jones would be in DM.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 out of the 3 were.
2 out of 3 were. Don't worry, we're gonna see it soon. You'll see it, man.
No, in fact, it was 1 out of the 3 because Elliott was in the front 3. It was Morton, Hendo in the first 11. In the first 11, if that makes sense. But out of the 11 out of the 3 we selected, it was Carvalho, Hendo, and Morton. But
yeah. Well, I can see. Maybe not in that system that I was mentioning the other day, but from what I saw today, I was thinking, I can see Klopp going the 4-2-3-1 now. I can see it more now that we've just had that game, and I'm like, okay, so you can play that game. You can actually do that. That's all we're asking for.
Big up Ram said to me, Morton is a double pivot player. Well, he said it in this big up saying every time, man. But Ram said it in our group chat. He's a double pivot player, and you know what? From what I saw today, I'm not saying I'm wrong about Morton just yet because it's one game. It's not even one game. It's half an hour I saw of him because in all his other cameos, I was not impressed. However, what I saw today was very encouraging, and I could be wrong about Morton. I actually now want to see him more, but not in the Prem, no. We ain't got time.
This is what I'm saying. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Hold on. You know what? I'm going to get this quote up because people are not deep in what's going on. I don't think they've seen the signs. He's the poster boy for Liverpool at the moment. He's modelled every kit out of every academy player. No Musialowski. There's been no Cade Gordon.
No Balaguer.
No one. No Mabaya. I've never heard of him in my life. But
Skilly Bay.
But none of these players. It's been none of these players. It was him. And look at this. I'm already seeing now. Klopp says Merseyside-born Liverpool team is incredible in training. Jurgen Klopp confirms set position for Tyler Morton after breakout season. Like, he's going to be playing in the 8.
No, but Jerry, that's fine. Just in the cup. Wait, when you ain't 8, like in the
he's going to try in these Prem games, bro.
He played at the San Siro in the Champions League. Where do you go from there, bro?
Yeah, for real.
Tell me, Brentford away, he's not going to go and play. Fulham away, he might not play.
You know the only bit of context I'm going to add? You know the San Siro, correct me if I'm wrong, we were already through by that point, weren't we? Or was that the game to seal it?
It was probably already through by that point.
No,
maybe.
we were already through. But no.
But even still.
No, we weren't.
But even still, even if we weren't, It would have made no difference because the fact that you're playing in a single pivot in a bloody San Siro, I don't know who you think you are. You're not like, it's not like this is like Tonali or like one of them kind of players where you're like, okay, yeah, he's young, but you can tell he's got a grown man, like a head on his shoulder.
Yeah, and a body. That's
his body, yeah. Like Morton just
because he's got like what the man says, he's on that popcorn diet, popcorn
yeah, literally.
With refreshers and that after school. That's funny.
Bro, it's true though. It's actually that's mad. It's true though.
I'm looking now, and this is the quote. In Klopp, listen, no one spoke to him about Tyler Morton. He came out on his own and said, by the way, Tyler, no one asked him about Tyler Morton.
And you know, listen, Jerry, just to stop you. Now you know he speaks very highly. You know, I know he actually sees Morton as, like you said, like a mainstay in our team. Normally when Klopp gets directly asked about a player, so how do you think Salah did today? Oh, Salah was amazing, Virgil van Dijk today. He always like, yeah, however, the team. So the fact he said he started speaking about Morton unprovoked, this says a lot. But go on, what was the quote?
By the way, Tyler Morton in training, incredible. He plays as a number eight.
Why has he got the voice?
We don't force him to play as a controlling number 6 in a Premier League game. He's training as an 8, and it's like, wow. How good is that? He's still here. He's still here. He hasn't gone on loan. He's still here, my guys.
You're scaring me. Stop it.
The number 10 is free.
You see, so okay, cool. Now that we're here and we've
I didn't know he could dribble though. I was seeing things I didn't know he was capable of today. I'm gonna be so honest. And maybe it's because the magnitude of the San Siro, the Porto game, the Spurs game, maybe because again, he was single pivot. No, he was playing singly by himself in the 6. And maybe because they were actually games that had meaning, I wasn't seeing it. But where he could kind of express himself today. Klopp said to everyone, yeah, you've got half an hour each, just do your thing, basically. It resulted kind of in the scoreline.
I think you've got to remember as well, it's a different role, though. If I see Tyler Morton playing centre-back, I don't see him dribbling with the ball. My bad. Right. But I don't see him dribbling with the ball. So for me, when he's playing in that 6, of course he's not dribbling with the ball. I think they've just said to him, do your thing. But
he did a bit today. No, carry on.
And by the way, when we're talking about this, he said he's still here. And then what's this? It was a big pleasure watching the boy playing. This was after Morton's 90-minute display at the San Siro. The football knowledge, the football brain he showed tonight was absolutely exceptional. He's still here, guys. I think that's the main quote. He's still here.
The thing that annoys me about Klopp is that I said this in the group, the Klopp Zone group. I said, you don't have to gas everyone, you know. Like there's sometimes you can just keep quiet and just let the player do what they're doing. Because now you've put this mad level of emphasis on him now. If he doesn't produce this season, everyone's going to be looking at him thinking, bro, like, I thought you was the next guy coming through. Like, what's going on? And blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I understand why Klopp does it. I fully get it. And I can see a benefit to doing so. Yeah, Tyler, yeah, real talk. Like, I feel like without criticizing him, but that's true though. Without getting onto him, and I don't like getting onto young players because they're too young, but he's not ready yet. He's not really ready yet. And we're moving like he's Bellingham level. He's not of that level. So I'm not gonna look at him and think, yeah, you know what? He's the guy. Him and Bellingham are like the same age, I'm sure. So if I look at Bellingham and I think, well, Bellingham's basically at the top and Morton's not, who would I want more? Come on, man. It's just simple sometimes. And I think Klopp just needs to sometimes dial it down. You don't need to talk about Ox and say, yeah, I'm so upset that I can't put him into the squads. And you don't need to put emphasis on the young players either.
But he's being honest. But he might be being on. He might be honest. He might actually believe this. And we're struggling.
I'm going to say I believe he doesn't believe this.
No. I know we've diverted off our
no, but this is all related to youth.
It's still related to youth. Yeah,
I know. So we're going to talk about it. Jamrock here, yeah. So saying big up Jamrock, saying bless up fellas. There was a huge back and forth with these most recent Klopp statement about the midfield, and some were reading his statement as in protecting FSG from not purchasing any midfielders and things of that nature. I'm going to say bullshit. At me, innit? At me. Because I'm not going to lie to you. You got to take his word for it. Why do we keep giving him a blight?
Yeah.
It's
He's
true.
like this. When has he ever in his career, ever worked with a massive squad, spent loads of P's on players, stockpiled players at certain managers? He's never done that. So there's no evidence to suggest that he wants to do that.
He might be the reason why we're not signing this midfielder.
I guarantee you it is.
Tyler Morton is his guy.
But we've alluded to it in many streams. It's a stubborn manager with stubborn owners. It's a match made in hell. I actually do feel, I think you said it, Jerry. If Klopp actually knocks down, bangs on their door and says, I actually want this player, they're going to actually get it from him. I don't think FSG is so ultimately the problem. We spoke about this because, cool, it shows me, I honestly believe we went all out for Tchouaméni. I honestly believe he's Real Madrid, bigger club. Yeah, because even me, from him, a career perspective, for me, Tchouaméni there is 6th or 7th in the pecking order. Casemiro, Kroos, Modric, Camavinga, and Valverde are ahead of him as it stands. So he's 6th or 7th. So I reckon we would have been better suited. Hey ho, I'm not Tchouaméni. So, but the fact that we went in for him, I believe we actually did, but he just put Madrid over us, shows me when Klopp actually asks, FSG will pull their things out their ass and actually get the player for him. So I now think he's just content with what he has. I agree with what Jerry's saying. I think he's content with what he has now, and we actually have to start looking at Klopp in terms of these transfer things. And that's not to diss him. That's not to diss him at all.
No.
But I'm taking his words for it now. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. On certain chats and stuff, I'm gonna kind of be open. When he made those statements, I was so pissed off. I was calling him a wallad.
Jerry, you know what? He shot himself.
He was a wallad.
When he said that to me, I was busted up.
Bro, he was a wallad. That's literally when he released that statement. I messaged everyone I knew and I said, "Klopp is a wallad." A wallad.
But Jerry, he shot himself in the foot because it shows me, cool. You can't say even this week about the whole midfielder thing. You can't say all of that, but then you went in for Tchouaméni.
But this is exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't even think he went for Tchouaméni anymore. I don't believe it. Like we've said before, yeah, Liverpool move in silence, they move efficiently, and they move correct when they're going for signings. They don't got drawn into long deals and.
So the fact this was
Liverpool do this. We want the player. We've done what diligence. Oh, Liverpool are linked with this player. Book, done.
Done. Yeah.
Done. That's how it's been like.
So you're saying the fact it was out there and it was dragged.
Alisson with whoever, Keita, anyone, any player that we've had, anytime we've been seriously linked with him, and Sky Sports dropped that there's interest in this player, we get the player. There was no bid from Tchouaméni. No major media outlets said anything about Tchouaméni. This is something that was just spun out of control by certain man, and I've said it before. These certain men keep just saying, we're getting this player, we're getting that player. Something's going to break out. It's crazy. Are we in for some big news? Liverpool's going to break the internet with this news, and you say it enough, and something happens, and then you go, see, I told you. But how about the rest of the 50 times that happened? Where's the evidence to suggest that we were in for Tchouaméni or Mbappe or even Bellingham?
All right. The only evidence I can say, man, but even just because you're speaking to him, man, Klopp might just like him. Like, yeah, you're my friend.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You might actually, you know what I mean? You might just be like, yeah, Mbappe, how's it doing? Like,
yeah, like
you're right. But if I had to say there was anyone slight evidence, it would have been Mbappe because the man's come out and said himself. Did he even say I spoke to Liverpool though? He said I spoke to Klopp. It wasn't really Liverpool. You know what I mean? I know obviously he's our manager, but some players call their ex-managers or managers and just get on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even
Saint saying here, man, look, like I said before, Klopp isn't wrong. We don't need another midfielder to compete. We will. We need a midfielder to not just compete, but actually
facts.
Klopp's here to compete. We as fans want to win. Yes, and that's a mentality. And that's why, and I've said it before, that mentality does seep through because when you see the Champions League, when you see the Premier League, I'm telling you, there's certain managers in the position, they would have won. They would have won. They don't draw silly games. You saw it.
It's seeping through to fans. Fans are thinking the same thing, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, you saying this, I'm telling you now, we say this, we're going to get attacked for it on Twitter.
That's
when Klopp came out of that statement, both me and G, after G, do you know what I mean, throwing me under the bus and putting me in, do you know what I mean, in that thread with those brothers, yeah, the top reds. We got ambushed. And bear in mind, it was like 2 weeks of no response. Like, we didn't converse. There was no discussion. These brothers came back at me. See? So you guys are wrong now. Klopp said he doesn't need a midfielder, so he can actually win the Premier. I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Listen, let me even put
what Klopp says is the best and the be-all.
is the best. Let's put this all to bed. Klopp isn't the Lord. He isn't the greatest manager to be at Liverpool. He isn't the greatest manager to be in the Premier League. He's probably one of many great managers that we've seen in our lifetime. He is a normal human being who can get things wrong. He isn't the best of the best. He's just the best that we've ever had in this 20-year period. That is it. But to go too far and take every word that he says as bond, I'm not here for that. I'm not even trying to listen to that because he's not right all the time.
You know what, right? Sorry to add to what you just saying there. This is kind of back to the Morton thing. And if I'm correct, Klopp was still here when this guy was balling out. It's kind of a segue. I didn't actually want to do a segment on him. But you know why I think Klopp might just be gaslighting this whole Morton thing, and I think eventually Klopp might just not use him at all, because the player we had, I think, was the exact same player to Morton was Pedro Chirivella.
Yeah.
What happened with Pedro Chirivella? For me, he was literally the exact same player as Morton.
Yeah.
Listen, this is without me even seeing that. Big up yourself, John Paqueta. Big up yourself, John Paqueta. Bro, for me, Morton and Chirivella look the same. They're both composed, both kind of technically gifted, but Chirivella's out the door now. And maybe Klopp's thinking, the Scouser, let me give something back to the fans. He's one of our own and whatnot. So he might give him slightly more time. But who's to say he just doesn't oust him straight away? The minute he gives him enough chances, yeah, your time's done.
Remember, not every player.
Sorry to cut you. This is what makes Klopp. This is what gets me even more madder with Klopp. Chirivella should have had more opportunity because our objectives weren't as high as they are now. Morton, the fact Klopp, cool, we all three agree, especially what Jerry said about the interview and whatnot. Morton may get more time in a time maybe he shouldn't because of our objectives. And Pedro Chirivella probably isn't going to get half the time Morton did when our objectives weren't even this high. They were just to get top 4. So it's crazy. It's
true though. It's true.
You know,
but it's true though. Like it's like it's just annoying. Like, I've been saying this for like the last 3 weeks. Yeah, Klopp's annoying. And I don't want to sound like I'm a hater, but it is annoying when you see things like this. And I'm just like, but bro, I know you're not even going to use Morton for like 10 games. So you're going to big him up and we're not going to see him. And then we're going to see him next season. And you're going to be like, you see, I told you, he needed time. No, bro. If you think the player's good, play the player now. But the reality is you coming out telling everybody that we don't need a midfielder. We've got enough midfielders in the team. We don't need this. He doesn't understand the discussion. I'm like, where have you been for the last 3 years then? Because we've all been in the same place watching the same football that you've been, coaching. And we can see that you are in need. Whether Tyler Morton is that player, we don't know. At the end of the day, there's 3 positions that need filling when these guys get old. So Tyler Morton might be able to take a position, but is he really the one that we can rest our laurels on now? We're in the midst of trying to win. I don't know.
I don't know. Look, like Jamrock's here even saying, like, a Joe Jones show, well, if you call into Coppish on Friday, duck. Listen, I feel like calling on, like, listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm this close, yeah, to starting a clock.
Be careful your words, bro. Be careful your words.
You know what you're just about to say? You know you're not the only one. I'm going to bait him because he probably won't mind. He said this off air. Actually, I can't bait him out on air. I'm going to tell you off air. Someone that literally was about to... I'll tell you off air. I can't out it. Guys, just remember, I'm trying to think.
Listen, because I've never looked at Klopp. And listen, after he said that, I was chatting, I believe, to Sean and to G as well. And I was like, he's a effing wallad. He's a wallad.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually, bruv, and now I'm looking at him and looking at him at Pep Yinders, and I'm like, he's there and he's coaching and he's doing all of this, and I'm like, bro, I saw him in Thailand, he's a side lad, and I'm starting to not take him seriously.
I knew he was going to say that. When you just think he's a joke, man. You just think he's a joke.
You see, if you're telling me, imagine you told me, Ron, this is what it's like, yeah? Imagine you telling me,
I know it's coming.
You're drawing bad things.
I knew it. This Jerry loves using girls as an analogy. I love it. Carry on.
Everybody knows. If you're drawing bad things, you're telling me I got all these things on lock. All these things on lock. Yeah. And from a distance, I'm looking at, you're doing your thing. But then I'm going out with you, and the girls are there, and I'm like, do your thing. And you're like, I'm about to do it. And then you don't draw her once, and you don't draw her the second time, and then again there's an ex girl, and then you don't move to her properly, and she pies you off. But you're telling me you're this gallus. After a while, when you're telling me about these girls, I'm not taking you seriously now. I'm saying you're a wild lad. You're lying.
You're a kaffa.
You're lying.
You know them ones there, bruv. You know them ones there.
No, it's true.
You know them ones there. Listen, he's pushing me, you know.
Listen, Jerry, like I said to you, off air, there's another guy that is exactly like you.
Link me up with him, man. I feel like
them two words, because I was trying to remember if he said it after the stream or during the stream, and it was after the stream. So I can't just out him like that. He might be out. But he probably won't care same way. But I'll tell you later. But bro, you're not the only one. Put it like that. Me personally, I can't yet. I still have. I've got small faith. I can't yet. But I understand where you're coming from. I can see it, and I know your logic behind it.
No, because I'm looking and I'm like, and it's not because he ain't taking us to a level. But I've said it before. We had Bill Shankly, right?
Mm.
Bill Shankly was great. Who took us to that next level, though?
Paisley. Yeah.
Paisley. If you're telling me this is the best Liverpool I'm ever going to get, bruv, we might as well start again, bruv. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep quiet on that one, boy.
We might as well.
Don't say it's just said, but don't.
I'd rather, I swear to you, I'm not going to lie. I'll say it out there. If you're telling me it's going to be like this again,
delete that.
No, I've lost it. I'd rather everything get sacked off. Everything. I want us to be a top 4 team again. I want that ride, and I want to see more in that play. And that's going to be my excitement. What gem are we going to discover? Is that Football Manager we're watching it in real life? Discovering these new gems, seeing if they pop off and whether we can sell them for profit or not.
I'm loving the fact that you're saying all of this and it's not coming out from my mouth, because when I say it, I sound like a negative Nelly. So I'm just happy that you said all of this.
I'm not gonna lie, I've lost it. I need to get a drink. You know
what, ET?
Run your rhythm.
One more year, innit? Just
you know what it is.
I can't. You know what I mean?
The thing is, I understand where Jerry's coming from, because I feel like I kind of feel the same way in like I'm a bit like you as well. Though I've got that tiny bit of like faith just from little things I might see, but you got to realize, bro, that if this is the best, you can't, like, Liverpool fans should know this can't be the best. Like, it just can't be. It just can't be.
This is why, whenever, thing is, football's an emotional game. Like, you're going to say things in the moment.
100%.
We've all been guilty of it. Every single one of us. One thing I never conceded to, never gave into was, after that, and I know it's emotional, but after that 30-year run ended, and you had a lot of top red saying this is the best ever Liverpool, I had to shut it down ASAP.
Yeah,
you cannot tell me a Champions League and a Prem, just one of each, by the way, not even multiple, one of each, is better than our teams in the 70s and 80s under the Paisleys, under the Shankies that were doing multiple. And because the one thing about, you've heard, once to be the best, you then have to maintain. You can't just do one season, because if that's the case, we should be calling the Leicester 2016 team.
Exactly.
And Liverpool fans are like, no, we can't know. But we're like, yeah, we can, because they done it the once as well. What's the difference between us and the Leicester team in the Premier League era? We're both on one. Us and the Blackburns, we're both on one each. That's why when Liverpool fans saying it's the best ever team, I was like, chill. Do your research and go to the Paisley and the Shankly teams, because you can't compare. Maybe we're getting wrapped up in it and we're emotional, but I had to tell Liverpool fans, he said it is a very good Liverpool team. I don't even know if you can call it great yet, because out of the big two that we met, out of the two biggest honours that we're measuring, it's one of each. That's what I was saying,
bro. Or two, sorry, maybe two in this Premier League era. We've got 2 Champions Leagues.
You know what's annoyed me? That Mane picture, I was saying to Saint, I said it to Jerry, I don't think I said it to you, G. In fact, I have. We were voice saying on WhatsApp. When they had his roll of honours, and everything was ×1, I got so annoyed.
Yeah, because I knew it. ×1.
I knew it, bro. But you know when you got reminded of it, like we gas this team so much to have ×1 of everything, to call it the greats and to be comparing it to Paisley. If we had maybe 3 champs and about 4 prems, then conversations can be, because it shows the era of domination. But to have one of each, that's why I never bought into it. This is the best team ever. I was like, this probably even in the second best team ever we've had. Do you know what I mean?
This is why I keep trying to tell people, like, you need to temper with the reality that you're living in. We're living in a world where we are not the best team. We might have some of the best players currently in today's football.
Yeah.
Yes, I can say that. But you're talking about, like, and this is why I get so annoyed with some fans when we talk about Klopp, because I'm like, I love Klopp. He's one of the best, like, if not the best manager I've probably seen in my lifetime in certain aspects, kind of thing. He's the best manager. But you got to realize, at the end of the day, the guy's only won one of each of 2 major competitions that we actually care about. I don't care about no Carabao Cup. I don't care about no FA Cup. And I'm sure other Liverpool fans don't care. So
because the sentiment where I saw you, G, FA Cup I did just for this year, because I was like, I've win it in donkey's years. But now I'm not really, but carry on.
This year, fair enough, I'll give it a blight. For one, like this season, I did kind of, when we got further enough, I was like, let's try and win it. It's the FA Cup, if we can do that. But without trying to get onto Klopp too much or anything, it's more the fans. Guys, temper your whole reality, because this is not the best. This isn't even remotely that great. It's moments. We've got highlight reels. We can go through Klopp's entire career here, and it's a highlight reel. It's a Michael Jordan moments continuously, like in these highlights, like Origi. It's like Origi. It's just their highlight reels.
Can I just add to what Jamrock said? It is so, like, I wasn't alive in the 70s, 80s, but I just know by the honours, this team can't compare to them. It just can't.
No, but you've done your research. You do your research. You do your due diligence.
And this is why I say I don't want to back them up, right? But this is why I actually agree with the Arsenal fans that are 25 plus, because they have seen their team in an era of domination and they've seen what it's at. So this is what I'm saying. What 1975 Jamrock is saying is spot on. I wasn't even born there, but I've done my research. This is why you can't say this is our best team if there's not a lot to show for it. You just can't. No matter how much you feel, no matter how.
70s and 80s, like you're saying, I can go and look at that and just looking at the sheet and saying,
thank you.
Oh, that man won 5 in 6.
Literally.
5 in 8 or 5 in 10. Oh, you know what? They were hard. I want to do that as well. Like, I don't get it. And I'm even seeing here, like,
because if you're the best, you dominate, period. Like, you dominate whoever's around you.
Bro, yes.
Except 1 league title in 32 years. I was drop because most fans didn't grow up from success. Do you know what that's like? That's like, being in a relationship with a girl, and or 2 people being in a relationship. No one understands it. I'm going to say it and I've lost it. And then, like the girl's been in an abusive relationship, but they've been bad, innit? Like the brother's been beating her up, slapping her up, like, I mean, not taking care of her, proper just abusive. She goes into the next relationship, and the brother does the bare minimum, like just gives her a hug before he goes.
That's gonna mean
that's gonna mean
your analogy is spot on.
But he tells her an idiot. But he's like, at least they don't hurt me anymore. At least they don't hit me anymore.
Yeah,
that's what we've become. Oh, you know what? At least we're not 8th anymore. And we're challenging. At least we're challenging.
This is what I keep trying to tell people. Like, we're not even winning, but you're so happy about, like, being second. That is loser's mentality.
Listen, G, I'm telling you, there's probably fat people in the comments even watching this. Me and Saint have alluded to it. I think all 4 of us have. If we finish second again, by a point, listen, I'm going to add most of the stuff happened last season. If we finish second again, get to the final of Champions League and win 2 trophies again, you will have 60% of our fan base still saying it's been a great season. Yeah, but we won 2 trophies. Yeah, but we got so close.
I don't care how close we are getting.
Literally.
I don't care. Do you think the teams of the sorry, Robert, even cut you. You think the teams of the 70s and 80s were looking at the team like they would have taken that mentality as weak, as loser mentality because they were in an era of winners. Them man were winners. They're not accepting the second best thing.
Me and like we're all level headed. When I speak to Liverpool fans that are 30 plus or let's say 35 plus, when I even suggest or when that convo's come around, they laugh. They laugh when he said the best is that. No, I was seeing my team winning the big ones year in, year out. It's only the Liverpool fans around let's say between 16 and let's say 28 that are saying, no, it's the best I've seen in my life. I can admit that it's the best Liverpool team I've seen in my lifetime because I wasn't alive back then. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. But if you're going to tell me the things, you have to structure the question well. When it's that, is it the best Liverpool team I've ever seen? I say yes straight away because it is. I'm winning that the biggest two back to back that I've seen it. So it is. But when someone says it's the best in history, even me not being alive, then I still say no because, like Jerry said, I just have to look at a sheet and I'm seeing a roll of honours and seeing that we were dominating domestically and Europe and around Europe. Nah, man. Nah.
It's a sad. And this is it goes back to Jerry talking about Klopp's comments in regards to Tyler Morgan. But like when you're making these kind of comments. You've made similar comments in regards to Curtis Jones before. You've made similar comments. Obviously, Harvey Elliott will allow because of his injury and all of that. But you've made comments about some of these youngsters. And the only youngster we can realistically say is really out here is Trent. No one else is really pushing through. You've bought players because you didn't trust these youngsters. So you're not really filling me with the confidence. And we've seen what happened with his time at Dortmund. I'm sorry, but that's evidence enough to show me that Klopp has an expiry date at some point in time because of just how he manages, how his team plays and stuff like that. Bro, I'm not saying we're there, but I'm saying he has an expiry date.
This stream, like I said, I never actually deeped it until I actually got on this stream. Like, it can't just be Trent. You're telling me in the next 20 years that has reached. I'm not even going to say world class because that's harsh, but just a top. He is world class, but I just mean any other
Saka level.
Yeah, at least.
That's
Saka level.
Jerry.
Good
at least
player.
Literally a mainstay week in, week out. You're telling me just Trent and Gerrard in the last 25 years? That's mad. Actually, whoa, how have we forgotten a big one? And you and Double A did. I can't forget Owen and the foul. Then again,
okay, so we're gonna go back.
Yeah,
Gerrard was the last one.
But Gerrard was before Owen.
And what, that was 98?
Nah, Gerrard made his debut.
Gerrard the youngest out of them.
97 or 98? I think it was 98. It was 98. Because
98.
I remember. It was 98. I wasn't even born.
As you guys are seeing that, yeah? And look, Demo's saying, look, the team of the 70s and 80s didn't have to compete with all this money.
Yeah, because we were the ones with money. We were the ones who had the
money. The second thing is, it don't matter. You're saying we don't have to compete with that money. No, but listen, you're saying we don't have to compete with that money. But as Jamrock's saying here, we're finishing 1 point twice to City and once by 21 points. Listen, if we're finishing by 1 point, that's not a money issue. That's not a money issue. That's not a money issue. If I can get to the same club as you, if I can enter the same bar as you or whatever, it's not a money issue now.
Because Demo, let's rebuttal and give this back to Demo. Like you said, if we were competing all this money, there should be a mad goal. We shouldn't be within the point of City price. We should be 20, 30 points consistently behind them. So money's not the issue really, bro. Money's not the issue.
Thank you. People always mention this money thing, and as you like Rom's think, I'm gonna clip that up anyway because people always say that. I'm like, how does that make sense when we're finishing a point? Where is spending 80 million on Jude Bellingham was supposed to get me that point extra? That's not what we're saying. Do you get what I'm saying? We're not asking you to do that, but you know, imagine this guy is good at
it. Every year, yeah. Say, imagine the guy at school that beats.
I said hope and charisma.
Someone bench pressing and sparring, and you're going back to school on hope and charisma. Hope, charisma, and faith.
Hey, respect us, Saint. You know, respect Liverpool. You know.
Let me run. You know what? We've gone topic, but this was just a build-up of that 4-0 today, man. The comment,
but you know,
and the 4-0 doesn't help. Unfortunately, it just doesn't.
Either way, today we came on here to speak about academy products, and ultimately, remember, Klopp is is our manager for the next 4 years. So we need to look at how he has previously managed some of these young players. What has it been like for those young players when they've left here, and from the young players who are making it through now? We didn't even touch upon players like Ben Woodburn. I remember Klopp ranting about Woodburn like, "Yo, this guy is solid." Where's Woodburn now? The guy's chilling. I think
we're talking about Woodburn. Let's go.
Youngest ever goal scorer. We
Youngest
might
ever
not
goal
get
scorer.
through them all, but there's enough. There's
enough.
There's Camacho that went Sporting. There's João Terceiro. There's so many.
Yeah.
We might even not fit them all on.
Listen, we're not, but we know we might as well go on to Ben Woodburn and then run through the comments before we head out. Ben Woodburn.
Youngest ever
In
goal scorer.
2018, yeah, The Guardian labelled him as the young player to watch in England. Yeah, that is the young player to watch. Nominated for the Golden Boy Award also that year.
I remember that.
Me from under sevens level at 15 years old was fast tracked to the under 21s at 15. So seriously good. He was that good that he was invited to train with Pep Yinders, and they had like a scheme called like Future Star Scheme or like Future like Accelerator Scheme, which basically they got the best talents of the academy and they got to train once a week with Pep Yinders. Klopp loved what he saw from him, so brought him into the first team. He signed his first pro in 2016, made his debut in a 2-0 win over Sunderland in Jan 2017 after finding his so obviously that same. He was the second youngest player in Prem LFC history to make a debut for Liverpool. That was at 17 years and 42 days. The only person before that was Jack Robinson. You know, the left back, the centre back.
Left back.
And where is he now? I'm not going to talk about him. He's in the Thunder, but where is he now?
He was even in the 13 to 14 campaign when we come close.
Yeah,
he
that's what
was in and out.
Flanagan got in. Mad. Anyway.
Flanagan's another one.
3 days later, he scored. Obviously, he made his Premier League goal score. He scored his first Premier goal. He bettered Owen's records, becoming Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer. Injuries, poor loans, whatever you want to call it, no opportunities. He's now at Preston North End from this season after his contract expiry in June 2022, and that is the career of Ben Woodburn at Liverpool. What on earth is going on?
It has to be us. We're not like we keep saying we're creating a pathway, but Klopp's more using these young players as like fringe players than he is as main players. When you think about it, he's not really bringing anyone through. Curtis Jones and all them that are fringe players. They're not starters by any stretch. Harvey Elliott being the only one. So is it us? Is our academy even that good? Are these players even as good as we make them out to be? You look at Brewster, where before there's bare players, but I look at Brewster. I thought Brewster was coming into the first team, not to be.
I thought he was taking over for me.
I fully thought he was taking for me. Fully thought
Solanke as well. Before
Solanke, why did you buy these players? Solanke was a weird one. That was a very weird one. But why did
it was off the back. England had won the under-20s World Cup, bro. He had an amazing tournament. And I believe even in the, obviously, youth first team, the disparity is mad, but his potential is sky high. And eventually that was the plan for him to start for us. I feel like the reason why Solanke didn't break in and be a main starter for us is why we all had faith in Brewster again, because Brewster was basically just taking the mantle of Solanke that, cool, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. I now need to be that guy. Sorry, bro, but carry on.
No, but I'm even thinking what you just said there, bro. Like, what is it? What is the problem? I don't get it, because I look at Chelsea's academy, I look at Arsenal's academy, I look at
it's actually worrying,
bro. Like
you're laughing, but I'm actually deep in it.
We've only had Trent Alexander Arnold is the only guy to have come through in the last 10 years.
And he didn't come through in the position that he grew up playing.
He didn't even come right back. Exactly. So if we're then saying Gerrard before that, nah, man, Liverpool Academy needs to pattern up then. Has to pattern up. I'm sorry. That's not good at all. You can that can't be your legacy. Is 2 players. Nah, I'm sorry, man. That doesn't fly with me. That doesn't fly with me at all. We've had no other players, and I'm even trying to think now. Who have we had come through? We're gonna all say Jones because he's here.
No, if anyone just joined, when you say Jones, we mean go say that again.
I said that's the only one, but it has to be Jones. And what I'm trying to say is that you're looking at someone again, Jones, Morton, all these players that are breaking through in the midfield of Liverpool.
Cool. Let's make it specific as well. We mean at least in the last 20 years. It is only Trent to a high level mainstay. Literally one of the first things in the team sheet. You're staying in and out because Jones, cool. He's been in and out, but he's not a starter like G said. He's not a mainstay. So the only guy in our academy the last 20 years. So from 2002 onwards.
And don't say Neil Mellor either. I don't want to hear these
Warnock and that. No.
Yeah, Warnock and I don't want to hear that.
But this is crazy. This is actually worrying. When you actually deep it, it's worrying. Like, we're laughing, but it's actually worrying.
But this is why I probably scrutinize our academy even more, because I might go and see your Chelseas and your Arsenals, but these young boys they're solid. They're really, really good players. Like when you see them, and I can understand why some of them, like the ones at Manchester City, I can see why they're getting moved. The guy who just got sold to Southampton the other day, he's 18, I think he is. I'm sure he's still 18. Like these players are getting
14 mil, 15, 17?
Yeah. And how old are you? Like, I know we obviously sell players for those kind of prices, like Nico Williams and stuff like that. But none of these guys, even Nico Williams, you couldn't even say that he forged a career here.
No,
like
you can't.
You can't say that it was here. If he goes and makes a career, yeah, but not at Liverpool. Like he wasn't really here at all. This is something that Liverpool need to work on, man. We definitely need to work on.
Look, Grizz is saying, look, Man City has only produced one in the same amount of time. Yeah, but their academy, you're not forcing your way into that team, no matter how good you are, because their squad is ridiculously stacked.
And they've not been at the level we've been at for as long as well.
You've got to remember as well, is when you look at them, who's come out of the academy in recent times now? Who's come out of the academy? Jadon Sancho and Phil Foden. Those have all come from the City
and
academy.
The next one, mark my words,
Palmer,
the lad.
He's not going to go out on a loan or not. I think he's even in Pep's plans this season. Cool, he won't be a starter, but you'll be seeing a much more of him. Trust me.
Look, Cole Palmer's going to be a baller.
Jamrock knows. Jamrock knows anyway.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Is that, there might be getting opportunities in the club, and that's their own issue. Why they can't get players into playing in the first team. That's their own issue. But they have produced more players than Liverpool.
No another player. They've got a buyback clause. I actually think his ceiling is Phillips is in his prime. But you see Lavia that they sold to Southampton?
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm talking about, Lavia.
Bro,
very high ceiling.
What my words, in about 4 or 5 years, when City buy him back, he'll potentially be one of the best DMs in. He's so mature. And even that Villa, Barca linked to him, even Villa have Charney Chukway. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
If you look at the quality that other academies are producing, and you kind of come back to us, all we can say is Trent. That's all we literally can say.
I was just about to say, like, when Grizz just said that, I was going to say the thing with Man City and Liverpool is that at least at Man City, I can look at those players and be like, yeah, but he's actually solid. Yeah, if he doesn't make it here, that's just more because Man City are some super team. It's not because they're not good. When you look at the youngsters that we have, they're not of that level. So the fact that they can't even break in here is the fact that you just can't break in here.
The majority of them you see after Liverpool, they've not gone on to do
they don't go on. So that tells you straight away these players weren't even good enough. Now, of course, different things happen to different players, but I've always said this. I look at the players in our academy, some of them, and I think to myself, when I put you up against your age mates, it's not matching up here. There's a big disparity between a Bellingham and a Morton that, in my eyes, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, the way that Klopp's talking, you'd think it's the other way around. You'd genuinely think it's Morton with the high ceiling and Bellingham is the Morton of the whoa. Let's get it right. One is a fully fledged international Champions League player at this present moment in time, playing for one of the top clubs in Germany. like consistently playing, one of their main players. The other is banging about in our reserve team. Doesn't really get game time here. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I would know who's ahead of their development and who looks like they're going to be the player. And that's the difference between Liverpool and everyone else. I'm looking at all these academies, Chelsea, Arsenal, all of them. They got dope players in there. I don't feel we have that.
You know another player as well, right? And I have to big up my guy watching now. He just sent me it, Ramon. But Yasser Larouci. I thought Larouci would break it. Big up Ramon, because I kind of forgot about that one. And people are automatically going to say, yeah, but you can't get him because of Robbo. He was in our academy and he was getting spoken about highly before Robbo. Trust me, before Robbo. Because we signed him for, I think, Le Havre. We signed him from Le Havre, then gave him back, but it was from Young. But bro, he's another one. Klopp didn't really give him a chance, and the youth looked too easy for him at points. I was looking at youth games. That it's a natural in football. If you're doing too well where you're at, you want to challenge yourself. You then go to the next step. That's another player Klopp didn't really give a chance to, in my opinion. Larouci, I think he's cold, and he's only 21.
Remember, it took Klopp a year to integrate Tsimikas. It took Klopp 6 months to get Fabinho in the team. It took Klopp 6 months to get Robert. Klopp's a stubborn guy. Like, we're talking about Fabinho, Fabinho and Robert, two players that you wouldn't take out of the team. Klopp took time to put these guys in. We had Alberto Moreno and whoever else banging about, and he took that long to get these guys in the team. Klopp is so stubborn, which is why I don't feel like these young players are going to get the opportunity they think. They'll get 1 or 2 games, FA Cup, League Cup, couple Prem games against Brentford or something like that, but that's it. They're not going to get the game time that Saka gets, the game time that Martin, because these players get that game time to aid their development. So, it is what it is. Can't really get that game time. Anyway.
The only way I back Klopp in this situation, but I'm only backing him in the last year. Let's say last 3 years, when we've been at the pinnacle, when we've been at the top. Maybe he's looking at cool, because we can't kind of be hypocritical. We can't say we want all these big stuff. Then we're just playing youngsters, you know what I mean? But we're speaking from a hymn sheet where even before we were at this high, I'm
talking before being this good, like when we were just starting to get this good, like, because Klopp wasn't showing that before. It's only, as you said, last year was probably the one season I can actually say Klopp actually rotated the team. Like, I was seeing defenders getting rotated. I never used to see stuff like that. But ultimately, I feel like he's got the team in a place whereby rotation isn't going to work for us like that. We're a team who do well in just being on point, on form, same team every week. If it doesn't work one week, then we just have to change it and we go back to the same thing every single week. We're not a chop and change type of team. I don't think so.
Yeah, personally, we're not that way inclined at all.
Nah, not at all. And obviously, that's more again. You could say it's testament to the team because the team is so good that we win most weeks anyway. But at the same time, I just think it's just more because Klopp ain't trying to change up his ways. So it's the easiest thing to do. If the players are fit, why not just play them? It is what it is.
Let me just run through some of these comments because we've been going on, and I know. There's pure. I don't even know where to start. Apologies, guys, if your comments didn't come through, man.
Back it up from the last, I don't know, half an hour. I don't even know how many comments we've got.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, that's pure. That's pure.
Another guy I think that should be getting more
might just be
currently, but I don't think Klopp rates him like that. Even when he's been asked about him. He's not really enthusiastic, but I think Dixon Bonner should be getting more of a.
No, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, he's left.
Not alone, that's sold.
No. Left on his contract expiry.
To be fair, I don't really blame him because even when I've watched him, he's good enough to be starting for a team.
Yeah, but that's my point.
That one hurts, man.
Yeah,
I thought he was still at the club.
No, he left. That's what I'm saying. We don't even know what's going on. Demo saying 1 league title in 30 years is in context. Owners.
Demo, I've just seen your latest. He's not, bro. He's not. I rate him.
Who?
Demo saying Dixon Bonner is garbage. He's not.
No.
Not in my opinion.
Garbage. He's not garbage. I won't say he's garbage. I'm calling that. Garbage is a harsh word. I save that for players like Bentner and I don't know why he got in my head.
I know a certain guy you want to say as well, but you're going to keep quiet on.
Because I'm going to keep quiet just for the time being. I can't be on for the heat today. I'm not on the heat at all. The man getting on to me like the other day. I'm not on it.
Saint saying in our midfield, Kate is the hope and Morton's the charisma. Jesus Christ, bro.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
Saint already knows though. Saint already knows because he already knows like the way that we move is not correct. He knows.
Trudon saying would burn out. So, yeah, Ken, another one that got away. I think.
Yeah, he was another one on my list. Ryan Kent, Harry Wilson. Like, yo, we've had some players. Yeah,
we've had so many. I was even.
Demo's gonna love that one. Demo loves Harry Wilson.
Yeah, Harry Wilson's one. That, yeah, it's just a weird one, isn't it? We chose him. We chose Shaqiri over him.
That's what more bugged me about that was we chose Shaqiri.
And then we let Shaqiri go the season after, which was just like, and he didn't play, and Shaqiri.
And he didn't. Yeah, he wasn't really. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Like, I'm all for players leaving. By the way, like if you're a young player and you're not getting into the first team,
do your thing. Like I rate what he did. I rate.
Yeah. Like I'm like, yeah, do your thing. Like you don't have to make it at Liverpool. You can always come back at a later date if anything happens. Like you don't know. So do your career, but at the same time, Liverpool have messed up with a few players, career development.
I agree.
I don't know.
Even me, another one I think that got away slightly as well under that Brendan Rodgers era was Connor Cody. You look at what centre backs we had after that, garbage.
That's the bit that confuses me though. Is garbage. Who did we have in centre back after that?
When did we sell him again?
We sold him to Sheffield.
Oh, he didn't go straight to Wolves.
No, Sheffield. No, but what year? What year, Jerry?
I'm gonna find it now.
Trying to think of the centre backs we had then.
He fully went Sheffield 2013-14 season.
No. He went on loan 2013-14 season. But went in 2014-15. In 14-15. So after
we had Sacco, Skirtle, Lovren. Don't annoy me, bro.
That's the bit I don't understand. So you had all of these players, but you let Connor Cody go. Was he that shit?
And it's mad. And Connor Cody was someone that he was at Liverpool. He was a Liverpool player, and in his
loves the club to this day.
And statistically, and it's mad because I remember going on. I was chatting to some of the stoppage time man. Them big up. I remember was talking about it, and they didn't believe me. And I was like, "Oh, name me an underrated player." And I said, Connor Cody. This was his first season in this Prem. You know,
wait, stop it. What? Cam's in that?
Yeah.
Big one of the guys. So big up all of them, man. Carry on.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and and I was chatting to them. They couldn't believe it, but I was like, yeah, Connor Cody's the centre back I'd have. They're like, no, I don't think so, bruv. His passing stats out the back were like they weren't as good as Van Dijk's, but they were just off in terms of percentage, in terms of long ball percentage passing, short range passing, breaking the lines passing. I don't understand why he didn't play. I don't understand why he didn't get given a chance. It's not like we were blessed with pure good centre backs. It's not like we have Van Dijk and do you know what I mean, and Matic.
Yeah,
you know what? You're not getting in the squad.
That's the initial I don't understand.
And what you're seeing now is he's playing for a poor team, but he's consistent. He plays every game.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so
he would have been a good player to have. Like, imagine having him instead of like a Nat Phillips.
But that's my point. And imagine he played at a higher level. Imagine I do feel his development would have been better.
It's true. Nat Phillips today. Sorry, Ron. Yeah, that he was. Yeah, fucking up. I was mad.
I know Jerry was going mad.
What we did
today?
All of them, all of the whole centre back lot, they were all moving crazy today. Apart from maybe Ibe.
Do you know how I knew the defense were going to move mad? I looked at a training video last night, of them there at the back. You know, they had the live stream out in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And Gomez was getting on the ball and he just kept losing it and was getting pressed. And I was like, hey, what's going on, man? And Klopp was behind the goal. And, you know, they were starting to press from basically the edge of the box, innit? Like, like Salah and all them man were already on the edge of the box, and Joe Gomez, I think it was Nat Phillips were inside the box, and they were trying to play out, man. And it was right after, when Henderson made that pass, G.
Oh yeah.
It was after that, and I was like, these man are, what's going on? Like they can't pass at the back.
Boy,
Lord,
you saw what happened today.
Lo and behold, innit? 2 p.m. UK time. We start.
You saw what happened today. The defense were just all over the gaffer. I didn't really understand that. I mean,
I think Gomez was okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gomez and Ibe were okay, but the rest were just, I don't understand.
Reece Williams, I don't understand.
I don't know why he's still here.
He's caught the biggest amount of life.
Sanucci vibes in that. He's good.
Because you know that the same type of goal was evident when I think we beat United, but the FA Cup game, I think we beat them 4-2. But when they took the lead, the same type of goal, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They just...
Yes, mad, man.
That's the kind of centre-backs that we've got here, isn't it? So
John Paqueta saying Flanagan was the worst fall from grace. Flanagan was another lucky man. He's a lucky guy. He
right place, right time.
Right place, right time. It worked out and it got a goal, but he was never... The fact that he was being compared to...
Even his goal at Spurs, the wonder goal, he didn't mean that.
No, he didn't mean it.
Being honest with us.
He connected with it, man. Disconnected, man.
And he almost missed anyway. When you see the connection, he missed, like, I was like, right, you just scored it, like, kind of thing.
Yeah, Trudon saying we've got 6 academy prospects in 30 years or so. Fowler, McManaman, Carragher, Gerrard, and Trent.
But look, we've had to extend it by an extra 10 years.
I saw other people...
Look, think about it. On average,
more people in the chat were adding names, but they had to then stretch it back to add more names in. If you're going from about 2000 onwards, it's just Trent. I'm sorry.
It's mad. And you think about it as well. And how long is a player's career on average? Let's say, no, you get some players that play 5, 6, 7.
On average, I'd say...
I mean at a club. How long is their tenure at a club? I think if you average out, it's probably a bit between like 3 years. Probably
I say 3 years.
Then a career is about 10 to 11 years.
Yeah, career is about 10 to 11, but we're probably getting 3 years or so, right? Because you might get a Gerrard that plays his whole career there, but then you get a Sacco, you get a whatever player you want to talk about, even a Mane that's like, oh my God, he was here for 5 years. That's crazy. Like, it's a long period of time. But you're talking about 4 years. So you're telling me we've had 6 players that have had careers, 3 or 4 years at the club.
So you're telling me if my maths is right, what's that? 1 every 5 years? Off that, 6 and 30? That's mad. To know that you're only really pulling out 1 every 5 years, that means in the intervening period, what the hell is everybody doing?
And bro, that's on average. But in reality, them players, a lot of them were around the same kind of time. The Fowlers and Carragher, them 4 would have been within like 4 or 5 years of each other.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. Fowler probably being the earliest one, then McManaman, then Owen or Gerrard between the two. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly, man. Jesus. 6 times LFC saying Klopp's stubbornness could cost us a dynasty. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it is when you think about it. That's what it is. Grizz saying, Jerry, but aren't we on the same level as City in terms of levels required to get in? Cole Palmer hasn't really done anything yet. I could say Balagizi or Gordon are ballers in similar ways. I don't think the levels are the same. I think Morton doesn't get into that side. Morton doesn't become the face of Liverpool's new campaign for midfield. Campaign for kits. Foden's the only one that's done that, and Foden is one of, if not a generational talent, and he's playing in midfield.
I get what Grizz is trying to say, because technically he would be right. Like, we are kind of on that same level as City. But there's a massive difference between, again, some of City's youngsters, the ones who don't make it. Some of them are just, in comparison to some of the ones who don't make it here, we've seen what's happened to their careers. They've done nothing with their careers. So were they ever actually any good? Who knows? Not nothing. Some of them, like Solanke's, obviously still banging in goals at Bournemouth and stuff like that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Jamrock, after John Paqueta talking about Musialowski, Jamrock saying they might not be good enough, or maybe just maybe the current structure doesn't work to produce more talent, because without a doubt, Dortmund want Matthäus from Zielinski. I mean, to be fair, I don't know about that, and I trust what Jamrock's saying on that. If they want him, then he means it's good, because they don't go. Depends. If they're getting him to play in the first team, then yeah. If they're getting him just to be in the academy, then I don't really care about
From the
that.
signings they've made, Hala at the Yemi, I doubt he's going straight into that first team anyway.
Yeah.
You don't think so? You don't think Adeyemi will come in and play?
No, I mean Musialski. If they're
Yeah.
Adeyemi's definitely going.
To be fair, how can Adeyemi come in and play? He's a striker, right? He don't play on the wing.
Yeah.
So, but they're
But he's versatile.
He's quite versatile, yeah, from what I know.
Wait, who speak about Musialski or?
No. I'm saying Adeyemi, because Adeyemi's a striker, right?
He can play out wide as well.
Right, but they brought in Hala.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So,
and they got Makuku as well.
Yeah, and Makuku, what?
But that's what I'm saying. At the end, for me, I was having this debate. I was having this debate with my boy here. For me, Adeyemi's going to be deployed as in the 3-day play. He's going to be one of the wide men because he's quite versatile. He's definitely not starting over Hala, especially the last 2 years he's had.
Yeah, Hala has to start now because he's been banging in goals. Like.
I hear you, Marky, and I agree.
Yeah. Demo saying Balagizi, Musialski, Cade are dope players. Look, Balagizi, I've seen a bit of. Musialski, I think he's good. Cade Gordon, I think he's dead. He's not
that actually threw me off, you know. Wow.
How old is he?
16.
No, he's not.
17.
17.
No, I'm going to keep with 6. I feel like he's still 16, though. Maybe he could be 17 now.
Let's have a look. He's 18 this year, yeah?
Okay, so 17. Okay, 18 this year.
So he's 18 this year. Yeah, so unfortunately, he's not making that Liverpool, innit? You're trying to tell me after Salah goes, he's going to be the replacement?
I don't even know what Klopp's going to eat for dinner tomorrow. I don't even know.
Look at Rom's face when I said that.
It's just upsetting, bro. Honestly, it's upsetting. Man.
So, do you think? Okay, is there one player in the academy that you think right now could make it?
No.
Roms?
Literally, I was going to stop you within your sentence as well, but then I heard Jerry.
No, listen, I thought another one that I flopped. I thought, do you know the one I thought that will bust through? That Peter brother. And then I heard that he went on loan to Macclesfield.
I spoke about it.
My boy Lauren, shout out Lauren, he plays for Macclesfield as well. So I couldn't believe it.
Listen, look, and shout out your boy because, like I said,
he's training. No, but he's training. He's training at Liverpool and only playing for Macclesfield on games. That's how bad it is. What kind of nonsense is that?
Training at Liverpool and only play for Macclesfield on games.
On game days.
So he's not gonna.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Well, that's what it is. I know it for a fact. Lauren,
what kind of a deal is that?
Yeah. I heard another top red say to me, yeah. I was like, bro,
Luga's going to be the one to take us forward.
I'm going to say that. No. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say what I'm saying to say what I'm saying next. I'm going to give a bit of context first. Currently, he's already 7th or 8th in the pecking order. But top red said to me, "Our youth is good. Set Van der Bergs for the future." I said, "Bro, I nearly ripped my hair out. I don't even have hair like that, but I nearly ripped my hair out." I said, "Bro, cool. Let's not even involve Matip and Dijk in this. He's already got Gomez, Konate. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. He's already got Gomez, Konate,
Nat Phillips.
Gomez. Cool. Reece is worse. Reece is ahead of him. If Klopp would prefer Reece right now to set Van der Berg. Obviously, Kometi, bro, he's at 9th or 10th. I said, do you honestly believe he has a future? I think Sepp Van der Berg, from what I've seen from him, by the way, he's a good player. I'm putting that out there.
They're trash. No, they're trash. No, at that level, they're garbage. They're basic.
Yeah, for the level of us, yeah. But that's what I was next going to say. I don't think you're ever going to see him as starting 11 player for us. That was my point. He'll do well elsewhere. And again, our it's not going to be like a mad match because we went through all the players that left off. Other than Luis Alberto and a Suso in recent years, none have really gone on to, you know what I mean?
None have really gotten better, really.
Yeah.
We've all kind of done it the other way around, where you start at these like smaller teams and then work your way up. They've done it big team, work your way down.
Yeah, Jamrock saying no GI rotation is not waiting until your core players is dead on his feet and you are forced to rotating. Rotating is doing that before your core players get to that point.
This is what Klopp does.
Or it's doing that for a certain game, knowing, and I've said it before, just like Mourinho would do. You're coming up against Liverpool, we're slapping Kurt Zouma in midfield.
Real talk. Klopp does it when he's like forced. Like, we've got no one who can play centre back. So guess what? Henderson, you're gonna go centre back. What? Why didn't you just buy one?
That's what Pep and City do so well. I don't even want to hear money. They won't even spend mad money. They'll just get better what they currently have or before a current player's expiration date. Don't know, man.
Yeah, Klopp's the type of guy that only takes his missus out when he's forced to, isn't it?
Yeah, he probably. I can imagine.
And then he takes her out on the date, and that. Apart from that, it's just pure vibes. And
she probably forced him to sign the contract. I'm joking.
Yeah, she probably did. You don't even know. You don't even know.
His main thing, he said, one of the big factors in him staying was her, innit? She weren't ready to leave.
And if she says she ain't ready to leave, looks like we ain't leaving. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So hold on.
Klopp's here for another 4 years.
No, before we head out, I'm gonna see if I can. We're gonna get a special guest on because he's got something to say. He's got something to say on some academy. So just before we head out, like I'm gonna send that into him. But yeah, can you guys run through the comments?
Yeah, that's right.
My little cursor's not coming up at the side. It happened earlier.
Is yours coming up on the side? Your scroller, G.
Hold on, I'm literally trying to do it now. Nah.
Alright, cool. Let me try run through the comments that are there at the moment, innit? And then I'm just gonna send this over to
6 times LFC said scenes when Kai Gordon is the Salah replacement. That's so joke.
But why is that scarily a possibility?
Yeah, boy, at this rate, it's gonna be a possibility. I'll be super honest with you. Musalowski, this is John. Musalowski said is too good even for his age. We need to protect and nurture him properly. I've heard a lot about Musalowski, to be honest. Followed him for a little bit. I don't know when it comes to Musalowski. I don't know if he's really there just yet. To be honest with you, I don't know. He had an injury as well, so that might have propelled him back. A bit like Leighton Stewart, he's had an injury, so he's still got to kind of come back as well. There's a few players who've been out injured who, luckily for them, signed long-term deals, so they've got time on their hands. But boy, if the team keeps leveling up, you ain't got no time.
Yeah, hold on. John was saying here, you can't blame ownership if you can't beat a United team that was forced to make 3 subs in the first half. Facts. Show you can't blame ownership for a team that considers themselves title challengers to score 3 goals against a newly promoted brand and not be able to win the game. Exactly. Yeah, like I was talking about Cody. Remember, Cody was a CDM when he was with us. He converted to CB after us. Exactly. But whose fault is that anyway? Oh, man.
I think the kind of gist of it
would have been able to eat.
We got him in. You got
one.
Wait, we saying video entrances thing.
Yeah, man. What's going on? Guys, subscribe, like, shout out to obviously the Big Six bands. I know they were streaming earlier. Yeah, Monts is looking stressed. Before we do that, what are we saying, G? Because we're going to move on to Monts, but I don't want to cut you off. I had to just get Monts.
No. I wasn't even saying anything. I actually wasn't even going into it. We're good.
Monts, the floor's yours. What you got to say about the academy?
That's
We're going to call it an academy, innit?
Oh, them guys. Right. So I feel like I don't want to say this on your platform because I love your platform, but I feel like the guys in your
Yeah.
they're
It
so
doesn't matter. It's a safe space.
yeah, it's a free space and they're so accepted in the chat. I be in the chat myself, so you know what I'm saying. But I'm gonna tell it like it is. Yeah. I hate to single out, man, them. But when it comes to the young boys, I don't really ask for a sterling debut. I don't ask a man to pop off on their debut like Messi. I don't need, do you know what I'm saying? That's not why I ask for out of my young boys. When it comes to youngsters, if you make a mistake, I won't even get on you. Very rarely will I get on you. Very rarely. Imagine who's calling. Mr. Sanderson's calling. But yeah, listen, now, just to get back to what I'm saying. So, on a serious note, all I want to see from a young boy is 3 things. Maturity. I know that's hard to ask when you're young. Confidence. And something that's maybe a little bit different. So there's a difference between Hill and who's the right back? Mabaya. So Mabaya got in a position to take on his man, and he did it most times. You looked at him and went, well, he's not afraid. He's not looked at Luke Shaw and gone, oh, can I get your autograph? No, he's looked at him and he's gone, yeah, I'm going to take you on.
Mont, I call him Skilly Bang. He looks like that Skilly Bang, innit?
Yeah. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't fault for one of the goals, but in my opinion, that don't matter because he's shown me something. And I'm not saying show me a 60-yarder or show me a screamer. Just show me something. Do a step over, drop your shoulder, play it round the corner. I'm happy with all that. But if you are getting the ball, and again, there were certain academy youths where I look at, and I'm sorry, I'll look at you and go, you will never be good enough to play for this club. I'm sorry, but it's that. Young Hill, probably a great kid, not good enough.
I don't know what you done. I honestly don't know what you done.
Frowendorf or Frodo or I don't know what.
A man said Frodo, you know.
I don't know Gallendorf. I don't know. What did he offer, bro? What did he offer apart from drop? Like, what did he do? Every time he got the ball, I just felt like nothing was going to happen. And don't get me started on Clark. Man are talking about his dad, fam. Man are talking about
his dad. His dad.
What the hell did he do? There was a point where the ball was in front of him and he didn't even get it under control. He's jockeying with the ball while the ball's like this. Get a hold of the flipping ball. Harvey Elliott is the same age as you, man. Why do you not look at him and go, wait, Harvey's the same age as me, bro? Yes, Harvey Elliott has been playing men's football, but this is what I mean by confidence. Don't be afraid to take on, because, again, you have guys like me above you saying, we don't mind if you make mistakes. So if man them don't mind if you make mistakes, then what's wrong with taking a risk? Because even if it ends up in a mistake, it shows that you are willing to be different from the next kid. Liverpool FC Academy looks like every man they've picked up and let's not act like these men aren't grassroots. I was hearing the commentators say 24/7, he's been at the club since he was 6, he's been at the club since he was 7, he's been at the club since he was 9, he's been at the club since he was 10. If these men have been at the club for so long, do you know why they've been at the club for so long? Because someone's auntie is associated with Liverpool. Someone's uncle is associated with Liverpool. Someone's dad is the fucking therapist, bro. Because I feel like we're saying that there's any youths who it's just sons and daughters and nephews of people that are associated with the club and can't actually kick ball and don't actually have mad ability. Because I didn't see anyone with mad ability. Tyler Morton, Curtis Jones, Fabio Carvalho, and Harvey Elliott, them man are excluded. They play men's football in it, so I expect a little bit different from them. Harvey especially, and obviously Leighton Clarkson ain't too bad either. But oh my life, brother, why are these men so scared to do something? They're so scared to do something.
It's that Klopp system, man. It's that Klopp system because you don't
know what it is. No, but why Skilleban trying to twist his man though?
But that's my point.
Bro, he made Shaw come off. Shaw was holding his hammy like after 5 minutes.
Do what it is. These brothers that you see, I remember Lasse Larouche, you were talking about him. These men that go and they're a bit against the grain and they don't fit the system. They go because Klopp likes man. You've seen it. Even with Curtis Jones, these guys are supremely talented compared to the rest of the academy. So they get into the team based on that, basically. But then you see their creativity just gets taken out. And then you see
that's
that
for them
the rest of
midfielders.
the rest of the academy just play a certain way. You could interchange Clark and that whatever, Miller, whoever the midfield is, and they all just play the same. They all play the same.
Yeah. I don't know, innit? I just think like someone compared it to Sterling's. Someone compared the debut to Sterling's Premier League debut, innit? And they were like, "Oh, Sterling went through on goal and he skied his 1-on-1." I said, "Did you know what Sterling done before that? He actually dropped his shoulder, twisted him, and put a pinpoint cross in. That's what he did before he went through on goal. And guess what? How many youngsters did you see run through on goal? How many youngsters did you see make a run and do anything? The only thing I rate about Hill was his pressing and maybe his instinct. That's the best thing I can say about Hill was his instinct to try and sniff out the press. But I'm not gonna clap you for pressing. I'm gonna clap you for running.
Well, to Roy Keane, that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's your job.
What do you want me to give my postman a round of applause? Word to Balotelli. What do you mean?
A man said what?
What do you mean? As I said, to me, it's just seeming like you're someone's son, so go play for this academy. Project Mbappe. But man are getting coached the same way and just coming out like I'm pretty sure these man rip up the under 18s, you know. That Gallendorf kid probably rips up the under 18s, you know.
Of course, that's why they're even on the tour, bro. It is of merit initially. They're on the tour because they're ripping up that level.
Dixon Bonner, Meady, I don't want to hear it. Musialowski is probably the only one.
I just said earlier,
he's got talent.
Did you actually not make Dixon Bonner at all?
What's he good at?
You know, you're right. I just thought he had the end. I thought
he has a beard and he has a good skin fade, bro. He's a black brother, and we're trying.
In Klopp's system, like, bro, Klopp, we've already spoke about this. For me, Klopp will nullify your abilities. If you're that silky kind of player, you have to be worked with that. You have to have a good industry. For me, from what I saw Dixon Bonner in the academy, that was him, bro. So I'm thinking he would, in a Klopp actual system, for me, he would cater to a Klopp system. But when these are telling me, bro, we've sold him now, or I think his contract got terminated, I was like, bro, but I can't lie. That's one player I rated, month. But the chat was on me. They were like, no, he's meaty. I can't lie. 21 years of age to be in the under 23s is mad. It is actually mad.
No. You got to think about it. We're talking about some of the ex-academy players. You had Suso, who was 17 in the under 21s.
Yeah.
Sterling was 17, 18 in the under 21s. Like, if you're going to be that good, you got to be playing at that level. Look, saying here, our academy coaches the individual brilliance out of players and spawns gang press.
I think that's a lot. I think that's England. By the way, I do think that's England in general. I don't think that's a Liverpool thing. I think that's England in general. Honestly,
I agree still.
That's an England thing, and I think if you go to a foreign academy, it's a bit different. But even Reece Williams, but that's a whole different ballgame, though. When I talk about man that aren't good enough to play for this club, listen, you helped us get Champions League, but how do you grow up and get stiffer, bro? How do you get stiffer? How are you 20? Like, I thought Toni Kroos would be the only one to have 25 pace on FIFA when he was 22. I thought Toni Kroos would be the only one, fam, that I've ever seen.
Kidderminster, listen, Reece Williams.
Red stats on physical.
Listen, Reece Williams, before he went and came back to Liverpool in January, he went on loan to Kidderminster in the conference on loan from Liverpool and didn't get games.
Kidderminster, do you know where that is? That's over there. I could flip my camera and show you where Kidderminster is. That is down the road from you.
That's what I'm saying. Them non-league teams there.
When West Ham came and played them, I could hear the people celebrating. All I'm saying is, stop getting the nieces, the daughters, the nephews, and go look for some flipping talent. Add the technical ability to the talent. If they got technical ability, then encourage it.
Nah,
allow me, Timo, though.
There were more duds today.
With Ince and Eccleston, bro, I was at 9 or 10, bro. Allow me. I was just seeing them and getting gas.
Kate Gordon is our most rated youngster. When I'm talking about rated, I'm not talking about obviously excluding Tyler Morton.
Garbage, man.
Excluding Tyler Morton and the rest of them, man. Kate Gordon is a highly rated youngster. He was 16 last year. He's basically 16. He's 17, bro.
He's going to be 18 this year, bro.
Yeah, but he's 17 and he's our most rated youngster above. And a lot of these man, don't get it twisted. A lot of these men that are playing today, they are 18, 19. They are 18, 19, bro. And I'm not saying not everyone has to be Bukayo Saka. Not everyone's going to be Phil Foden. Not everyone's going to be Trent Alexander Arnold. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is that there were just so many duds on the field today in terms of. And listen, we don't know what goes on in the change room, so we don't know if Klopp's gone into he's got you. You know when everyone likes to go, oh yeah, Klopp's cuddling him and talking to him, he's going to do a madness. Klopp might have gone. Klopp might have said, listen, just keep it simple. Don't lose the ball. Play the system. There's many more preseason games this season to come up, and we want to just see if you can follow instructions before I give you more games. That easily could have been a thing. That easily could have been.
Very true.
That could have been a thing. But at the end of the day, I think that probably maybe applies to midfielders more than wingers. And in Clark, I promise you, I saw nothing. Like nothing. They talked about his dad more than I was. I was Googling his pops.
I don't know who his dad was. I don't know.
Yeah.
Only till you come in, I didn't even know who he was.
Like it's got me thinking, raw. Like what? My pops couldn't have been a baller. I'm Jamaican, so you know it's a sticky one over there. But what? He couldn't have been a baller at least. Maybe. Do you get it? Like what? Maybe would be playing for academies now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I think we've just got a deep that our academy isn't as good as we make out. It's really that simple. Because as Monsters alluded to, look how many like the players that we were seeing today. That's why I never said too much about the match review, and I didn't go into players because I said, bro, 90% of these players were kind of dead. But at the same time, that's what we're working with. So there's a level of, all right, well, we just got to kind of stick it and go. But at the same time, as you said, you're Bobby Clark. These players are not good enough. They're here, but that doesn't mean that they're good enough. They're just here because make up numbers pre-season.
For the training session, innit?
Yeah, for the training session. And it obviously...
Yeah.
It kind of helps them in a sense of, you know, being able to play against first teamers at, you know, every now and again. And I get that and I totally respect it. But ultimately, you're bringing players that we're not going to see at all throughout this season whatsoever. Freundorf, I think he's okay. We're not going to see him this season.
Hey.
Bobby Clark, I think he's okay. But we're not, but you know what I mean? We're not going to see them. So why am I seeing them today? I don't need to see them now or at any other time. I need to see the ones that you want to see in the season. That's it. Kai Gordon's, your Harvey Elliott's, your Fabio Cavallo's, your Curtis Jones. Let me see all of those guys. Even if you do need to bring a few extras, let it be players that I'm more than likely going to see. Stop bringing these meaty players and I'm not going to see them again.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. The DM was okay. What's it? His name's really hard to pronounce. The DM, the young DM. Vasic, yeah.
He looked all right.
And that was his first game back from injury. So the only thing I really saw was the bad pass that he done when it kind of come off his left foot. But apart from that, he looked okay. He even done a little shoulder thing and played it on the corner one time. I was like, ooh.
Wait, crazy man. Then where's Glatzel? Where's Paul Glatzel?
God knows, bro.
I want to say he's on loan. I want to say he's on loan.
Bajatic, what's it called? You know, he's a centre back as well. Last season he played centre back.
Chambers looked okay, but Chambers looks like one of them youths that. Do you know what Chambers reminds me of? Chambers reminds me of on Sunday League where you see that kid, the fat kid in centre mid, where
got tech,
bare tech, like you press resistant,
just spraying balls,
but sprayers and bangers and set pieces only. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're not going to see a man travel with the ball.
Yeah. Like, obviously, no, he travelled the once with the ball. Like Chambers, he travelled the once. Remember, I think it was the one where Gomez took it through a couple man and we broke forward and it was 3-on-1 and we hit. And again, we'll talk about Diaz. Next stream, we'll talk about Diaz.
We'll get into
Diaz. Because man, them were telling me he got this amount of goals for Portugal.
We'll talk about Diaz.
Someone telling me about Diaz, you know. But anyway, listen. I'm not reading into it this preseason, but man, I'm telling me about Diaz and shooting. That's gonna be a mad thing. But yeah, the wing back, So Chambers for me, and I know I'm gonna bring this back in it. For me, man, I'm looking at Chambers and going, "Oh, he's decent. Do you know who was decent? Larauchi. He was decent, fam. He was actually.
I said earlier.
Is it Larauchi? Have I said his name right? Larauchi.
Yeah.
He was decent, bro. Donny had tech. Hoover, he was decent, blood.
Yeah, Hoover was decent. Yeah,
these man were decent, bro.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When people say Liverpool fans hype up their youngsters, we don't. I think our youngsters are shit. But if they're a man you're going to talk about, it's Hoover and it's Larauchi. But we got rid of them, man. For who? Chambers and them, man. And Hill. And all them man that can only press and do nothing else. It's not good enough, fam. And listen, I'm not saying they're done and they'll never play for the club, but, bro, the drop-off is colossal. Like, you look at Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott's twisting man on his first touch, G. And he's just...
damn first 5 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this thing.
Yeah, even Grizz is saying here, like I agree, our academy ain't good enough. Benitez called it out. He brought that Rodolfo Barrera at Barcelona. He couldn't fix it. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. I was like, when Benitez was there, I'd say that was when our academy was the best. You look at the players that came out. You got Suso. Look at how was
I
career?
think we even won FA Youth Cup under.
We did.
Suso was so hard, but we had Coutinho, so it's just one of them ones where it's unfortunate.
But he was there before. He was there before. That's the madness. And you look at it, even like Sterling. That whole
the Brazilian you we had. Who was that Brazilian you we had?
Texera.
Nice. What the black brother?
Bro, he was Brazilian.
Alan. Huh? And his work permit.
Was it Alan Souza?
And his work permit. That was
my days. Central midfielder. Yeah.
What happened with him?
Work permit, I think.
Visa problems or something.
No, work permit.
Yeah. Work permit thing, like.
But how can you not get your work permit for like 3-4 years? I know it takes time.
Because you weren't being given a chance. Basically, you can only get a work permit if you can go and play. Because you playing essentially means you working. Because you weren't playing, it means you're not working. Therefore, you're not going to get your permit. It's a mad backwards thing.
But like, I can't lie. Apparently, he was actually all right. Like, this guy was supposed to be a something. I remember them times.
They spoke about him quite a lot. Like they were talking about him being the next kind of defensive midfielder that we'd have in the team. He should be our Fabinho, effectively. Like,
bro, like he's 25 now.
Yeah, it's done. He's playing in Brazil somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, he went to Frankfurt at one point, and he was at Hertha Berlin as well. He's
in Brazil now. Yeah,
he's in Serie A at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's playing for he's in Serie A at the moment.
6 times saying Pretty Patel declined this work.
But listen,
hey, don't get us in trouble with the government on here.
Thank you for the cameo, by the way. Big up you lot. Make sure you guys subscribe. I have to hop off, but as I said, Darwin Núñez. We go again next game, yeah.
Is that what you're doing, Mons?
No. I'm taking the piss. I'm taking the piss. Listen, I don't even think he was that bad, but people listen.
Playing up front with that. Where's it? Is it Miller? Is that his name?
Hill.
Bro, that Hill guy was just in his way. He was setting the ball to him. Man went.
Bro, I said to all the Liverpool fans that getting on him, the fact he's in the positions and that, once he sharpens up, I'm fine with that.
But Ron, I'm not trying to hear that 6 months later, though. I'm not hearing this conversation
DG,
again.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
DG,
when he
for this first game, that's fine. But once he sharpens up, we won't see that, bro.
It's true. Yeah.
It was a bad miss, though.
No, it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Diaz's miss was horrible as well. Diaz's miss was worse, by the way. Diaz's miss was worse.
100%. And Diaz needs to pattern up his finishing, but we'll get there.
He has to still.
But big up, Mons, man. Appreciate it.
Big up yourself, Mons.
Thank you for having me on. I just needed to talk about that.
Yeah, it's cool. Shout out Sanderson and the Coppish lot as well, man. So big up.
Big up, Cal.
All right, man. Looks like we're gonna end it here anyway ourselves. Before we head out, I just thought obviously we put something together here. Obviously, it went on for longer than I thought, 2 hours 42 minutes, but there's a lot to talk about. We started talking about obviously our academy players, went into depth on them, on a few, and there's been way more. But obviously, we've had to spiral out of control the whole. Do you know what I mean? The pre-season game and Klopp's comments just meant that this was just going to erupt, innit? But this is what it's like, man. We're organic, we're unfiltered, and we're raw, man. Before we head out, Roms, anything to say?
Like I always start off with, everyone locked in, thank you. Like, tell a friend, and whatnot. And just don't let today, we shouldn't be losing 4-0 at all. But just don't let today beat you up too much, innit? But
even just to add to that, like I always have to try and reiterate on every stream, because I need everyone to know we're not Klopp haters, we're not Liverpool haters. We're all probably the biggest fans that you'll ever meet in terms of support for a club. What we are is, I feel, is we're just more realist in terms of context. So we look at things at the bigger picture. So when we're talking about criticism, we're doing it because we want the club to get better. Let's not forget, I don't care about if Klopp I don't care about Klopp. I don't care about the players. I care about Liverpool, because that's what's going to always be there till the end of time, regardless. Yeah, I'm saying Gerrard came and went. Liverpool is still here today. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when we're talking about critiquing and we talk about certain players, no hate or malice towards it. It's just pure,
very objective. That's what
very objective. And we only care about the three acronyms: LFC, not FSG. So whatever they do and how they do it, I don't care. Let them do what they're doing. We care about LFC. So just want people to kind of understand that. I know people like to get onto me mainly, and I'm dragging JJ into these madnesses. But
now I'm getting hotted up.
Nah, it's true, but at the same time, also to those people, at the same time, you will never silence us. That's a fact. You couldn't silence us even if you tried. So if you don't like what we're saying, keep following, because we're going to be doing it a lot more, man. And that's me.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. As I said, like this stream, as we know, is obviously didn't get as many views as we did, but I kind of knew that because I knew that this is for the LFC purists. Do you know what I mean? Like proper football fans. But I thought we'd do something different because I'm not gonna lie, I just got bored of just chatting about the same old nonsense about transfers, this and that, and do you know what I mean? All that type of.
It's the same news.
And do you know what I mean? Just running. I'm not gonna go and start chatting about made up links. Like this isn't the channel for that. I'm not gonna start. Do you know what I mean? Talking about we're linked with Dybala, we're linked with them. No, we're not.
Just putting out content for the sake of it, because that's another thing about it. Just see the club we are. We're not gonna get 10 of them players that we're linked with. Probably won't even get 1 out of the 10. But
if we're lucky.
Exactly. So that there's just no point. There's no point. But
everyone in the chat, big up everyone that's been in there. So obviously John Paqueta 6 times, Grizz, Demo, Wino's been in the chat, Jamrock. There's been so Razor. There's been so many. To be fair, before we head out, this comment by Razor is funny. Why do our caddy players who have the same trim? Higher top team. Listen, I need buzz cuts from next season. You know.
Real talk.
Level 1's no shape up. You know, like that.
Steven Gerrard 2000. I need that type of trim.
But yeah, everyone, appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I know obviously this is for like this segment on the tactics board or just for the football purists. Do you know what I mean? Because we went deep into it, so it won't get the flashy. Do you know what I mean? Highlights, won't get all the likes and stuff. But I know I enjoyed it. I can't speak for Roms and G, but I think we had a great show.
Don't be silly. Man said you can't speak for us. You can speak.
Bro, you can speak for us, bro.
But yeah, so see, this has been the Jerry James Show, and we're out, people. Until next time, peace.
Peace.